Oh, you know what I love?
Sports.
Love sports.
Sports. When
It comes to Texas A&M.
Where are you getting this information?
Let me tell you.
Welcome to TexAgs.
TexAgs Live.
I feel like I should be listening to the theme song from the Jeffersons. You know, we're moving on up.
We will develop men, we will graduate players, and we will win championships on the field.
The best way for us to win is to do it together.
He is a guy that has gotten better and better and better. He's just got that dog in him.
This one's special. The 12th man this past week was unbelievable.
And this is a real program. It's not fake. This is a real place. And if you want to be really good at football, this is a really good place to be.
You know, if I'm betting on anybody, it's the Aggies.
Top 10 recruiting class with most services out there. I think everyone I saw, actually. I think I saw them at 9 at most places. After an 8-4 year, first full cycle with Mike Elko, how do you feel about it?
I feel good.
Yeah,
I think I saw him number 8 on one recruiting ranking. So, yeah, a top 10 class. I'm always excited about linemen, as you know.
They did well there.
So, yeah, they addressed some needs on both sides. I know they got some defensive tackles that other people wanted, and that's always a good thing. I want you to get guys that big time programs want, and they did that. Of course, now it's celebrate a top 10 class, and then hopefully you develop them and they perform like a top 10 class.
When you look at the biggest difference between A&M and Texas, the last game of the season, I would say in that game was particular the line, right? The lines, if you will. You couldn't get the yard, and I know Le'Veon wasn't there, but you couldn't get the yard when you needed it. And I think skill players, obviously, that played a huge part.
I think they
too.
had receivers that could get separation. I think A&M had receivers that struggled to get separation, even though they did at times. But I think that Texas just had more big play threats, which goes back to it's remarkable that A&M was in a position to still win that game. And we talked about this obviously Tuesday all day or Monday, but if you made the plays that were there to be made, you could have pulled off that win.
You could have, yeah. And I know that it didn't feel close because Texas was a much better team that night. And then the response I've heard is, well, Quinn Ewers gave you that. Well, no, I think Texas A&M took those opportunities.
I mean, the one who tipped the pass, Regis?
That sounds right.
So Quinn Ewers was throwing a pass that was deflected. It was a good play by A&M, both by the guy who deflected it, if it was Regis, and then by Will Lee for making the interception. I saw some passes that were deflected on the other side, the other way. So, and then the fumble was...
That was forced.
Was it Hicks? Okay, that's right. I knew it was an interior lineman. And then... the fumble was a nice play. I think that was by Cassius Howell.
Yep.
But even if that's the case, well, then don't make those plays. We could go back and say some things in like A&M's loss to Notre Dame, for instance. Well, you kind of gave that one away. Well, you should have done something about it.
You should have done something about it. Exactly right. So yesterday, Coach Elko came to studio. So if you are a premium subscriber, you got the first crack to hear some of that. He talked about his opening remarks with Billy and Bronny were basically about building this class.
So I think when you get into the head chair, I think you're always learning. And I think obviously as a defensive coordinator recruiting to this place, you kind of had a feeling for the pull, the draw, how important it meant to Texas kids and kids across the country to get a chance to come to Texas A&M. And then I think when you slip over into the head coach's chair, I think you just learn more. You learn more about what this place means to people, families, parents, how important and how big the brand is and what we can draw and what we can recruit to this place.
Yeah. He recruited to that. And they also went out west quite a bit, too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially Utah.
Mm-hmm.
That's what
Cali.
I'm excited about. I'm particularly excited about the kid from Utah because he's a big play receiver. And I heard Bronny and Billy talk about that. The knock is that there have been some injury issues, but hey, get him here, keep him healthy, and
Get him with Tommy Moffitt, but also muscle.
And that would feel one of the more glaring needs on the team.
Getting back to the offensive and defensive line. So yesterday, I believe it was Billy who asked Coach Elko about adding maybe numbers in certain areas midstream after watching the season develop. And Coach Elko said not necessarily.
No, I don't know that we adjusted midway through. I think we set out to kind of sign a team. I think that was kind of the first goal. I think you're always flexible to find great players, and so we never want to be so rigid with the numbers that when a great opportunity presents itself, you can't move in that direction. We knew it was a really good. I think the two things we found out really early were we were really excited about the D tackle class in state, and we were really excited about the O-line class in state, and we wanted to go out and get the guys that we identified as impact players. And I think you see 9 linemen between the offensive linemen and the 3 inside D tackles from the state of Texas. And then I think there were some other areas where we felt like maybe we had to look outside to find what we needed. And I think we were able to do that and kind of supplement it really well.
Yeah, so they did. They beefed up that line. You and defensive line, you got to talk to one young man in particular, DJ Sanders.
Yeah, he doesn't have a lot to say. He's not the most talkative guy. He's more about
business,
action than talk, right? That's a good thing. Doesn't mean he wasn't cooperative. I'll say this. He doesn't like to talk a lot, but there's plenty of people down in Belleville that are more than happy to talk about him. And and it was an interesting morning down in Belleville between people wanting to tell stories about how great a player DJ is, what a great a person DJ is, and about the great temptations that DJ faced all the way up to like 7 a.m. People from other programs
desperately trying to get
desperately. That's a great word. Desperately trying to convince him not to sign with A&M and to sign with them. And he had given his commitment on August 7th. To Texas A&M, and
he stayed true to that.
It was important to him and his family for him to honor that commitment.
He's going to be a beast. He looks like he could be real special.
Well, let's hope so. When you look at his tape or video or whatever you want to call it, he certainly has some unusual assets. He's 6'4", every bit of 290. He may be more than that, but he runs. His brother. His brother's name is D.D. Murray, and his brother signed with Arkansas State yesterday. He's a running back. And, I don't mean to disrespect D.D., and I know this is hyperbole, but I'm not sure who'd be the better running back between the two brothers. He had plays, if you watch his video, especially last year and when they were on their way to the state championship game, and he had plays where he literally just rips the ball loose from running backs, and he takes off running, and nobody can catch him at 290 pounds. He's that fast. So he's nimble on his feet. He has speed and, enormous size.
So what's the next order of business? I know it's the portal, obviously, but where do they go next? Wide receiver, right?
I still think I think wide receiver would be a target, a primary target. And if you can find a pass rusher, you're always going to.
I think you need to replenish the defensive line,
and quite frankly, if you can find a safety or a corner, I think you should take a look at that too. But it seems to me that receiver, if
that's the first order of business, right?
I heard the guy from Texas Tech,
Micah
Hudson, is out there in the portal, and
he was interested at A&M at one point,
right? So if you could get a guy like that, I think you'd go all in to try to bring him here.
Yeah, I think you need multiple guys, right? Mm-hmm. I definitely think you need an elder statesman in the quarterback room.
That may be hard to find.
Yeah.
Because if you're in the portal, you're probably not in the portal looking to go somewhere where you can be a backup.
Probably not, but looking at A&M's history, looking at SEC football, and there are Jalen Hendersons out there. Jalen Henderson, obviously, in the portal, Connor Wegman in the portal. We'll talk about that later. But there are people like that hey, I think I can compete with this kid for the job. Why not? And I want to go to A&M. There are people, and when I was growing up, and I think there's still kids out there like that, I want to go to A&M. That's what I want to do. I want to end up at A&M.
Well, I hope so. I just know that wasn't a transfer portal when you were in,
that's true.
And things have changed, but I hope so.
But there's Yale kids like we saw.
Yeah, like the guy that failed spectacularly at Florida. Yeah, look, you might find a guy that was a nice quarterback somewhere and is willing to come and be a backup because he wants to be a part of a big-time program. It just seems to me that if you go in the portal, you're looking for a place to play more.
Yeah.
I don't know of anybody that went into the portal, with maybe the possible exception of Jalen Henderson, that comes to mind that
recognizes, all right, I'm probably QB 2 or 3 in this situation.
And I'm good with that.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, in a weird way, I don't know that you want somebody that's good with that. I mean, I like a competitive
maybe they say
person.
they're good with that, but in the back of their mind, they're like, I can beat this dude out for the quarterback spot.
But I do think what you're going to see more and more moving forward in college football, and I think Texas had a luxury in that they had a guy who was, from a different family who understands the dynamics of maybe more than some and pass that right down. But I do think you're going to see more and more the backup quarterback. Rarely do I think you'll see anyone, maybe even a sophomore backup, but rarely a junior or a senior, just because the way the portal works, the dynamics of college football, that a lot of times your backup quarterback is going to be a freshman.
Well, and what does Miles O'Neill think if you bring in a person? He's going to be a sophomore next year. Does he just, I understand the delicate balance.
Right. And why did you bring in Miles O'Neill?
To develop him and hopefully get him ready to start. But he was recruited by Jimbo's staff, and Elko did a good job of keeping him.
Yeah, so maybe he's your backup next year. I don't know. I trust Jimbo. I'm sorry, slap me for that. I'm kind of distracted this morning. I trust Mike Elko to make the right decisions for this for his program.
I agree. Other news from yesterday: Scooby Williams to return.
I like that.
That's big.
That's good news. Will Lee returning? Scooby Williams returning? I wonder if anybody else will return.
People are going to return. I know
some that I think should, but that doesn't mean they will.
Let me guess. Is it somebody on the defensive line?
Yeah, there could be some defensive linemen that I think should return to try to boost their draft
enhance
stock.
their draft profile.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean they will.
Yeah,
because there's going to be agents and probably family members telling them they should not.
Look, the Edgerrin Cooper methodology worked out for him.
It did. And I think we could all see that because we could see the production that Edgerrin Cooper had. I even remember, I know it's a different position, but I remember Tyrell Dodson. I was surprised that he went into the draft.
Right.
Because I was thinking, hey, you might not need another year to enhance your stock. And he did not get drafted, but it's worked out for him. And maybe, people are going to feel like the same will work out for them the same way.
Yeah. There's a lot of guys I'd like to see return.
But Tyrell was more productive at his position than some of the guys that we're talking about without naming were at theirs this year.
This is TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We are in the Rollo Insurance Studio. It is the Go Hour presented by The Warehouse at CC Creations. If you want to be a part of the conversation, you can do it multiple ways. You can call us up on the Boss Firearms Hotline, 979-693-1150, or text us on that same number. Currently, we're in the Holistic Planning Cool Zone.
Cool Zone. It's the only cool place in this room today.
This room is 112 degrees.
But not in the cool zone.
No, the cool zone,
everybody's going to want to be in the cool zone.
I wouldn't call it cool, but it's not, it's cool, but it's
a different kind of
cool. They'll take care of your investment, your tax, your estate, and of course you can invest in pro sports by going to investinprosports.com. They will take care of you. Behind the glass, we talked to a very busy Nick Savage who's been working and just killing it the last few days. Nick, good morning.
Hey,
buddy.
I'm home free now. We got through signing day, and it's smooth sailing until the bowl game, and then even after that. But again, thank you to everyone who helped me out with that. It's not just me. It was the whole crew that made it great. David, you did a great job as well, so it was a lot of fun. But we didn't get to talk about the college football playoff rankings. I don't know how much y'all really dove into it, but the latest bracket projection came out. Biggest change there, SMU going to get the bye into the first round if everything shaked out, as it stands today. Alabama back in the playoffs. Indiana's still in there. Arizona State, the Big 12 champ, visiting Penn State. So just, do you have any thoughts, initial reactions to that bracket?
SMU, it's bye.
Football season's still going on?
Yeah. For SMU, it's bye or bye-bye.
Yeah.
You know, if you don't win and get the bye, you're probably out, which is a great subject of debate. And you know what I don't get?
What's that?
Okay. Alabama, I think, moved up 2 spots after beating Auburn. South Carolina beat Clemson, moved up 1 spot.
Only 1 spot, yeah. And Shane Beamer did not like that, and he spoke about it yesterday.
Yeah, but you know what? The one thing that comes back to it, because I think if Alabama and South Carolina played today, South Carolina win, but they did play.
Yep.
And Alabama won.
This is true.
So, Shane, I feel bad for you, but you know what? Go out and don't blow the lead.
See what had happened.
And you'd be in the playoff.
All right, let's go to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. Found out today that today is Juan Marcos' last day with TexAgs.
No.
Yeah, the parole officer's coming to get him.
Yep.
Just kidding.
Yeah, it's my time to go.
Hey, buddy, you've done awesome work, man. We really appreciate your work here.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
What do you have going on?
Well, Texas A&M women's basketball team held Syracuse 32 points below its season scoring average on Wednesday night, and it's 57-45 victory. Yeah, no, that's huge. That's huge. The Aggies will return to court on December 8th as they take on number 13 Kansas State at 3 p.m. in Reed Arena. So pretty exciting stuff there.
Exciting, and I think on December 8th is also the A&M Tech game, correct?
Texas Tech up in Fort Worth. I'll be there.
Yes, sir.
Lord willing.
Let's see. Former Aggie guard Boots Radford saw this last night.
Oh, I saw this too, yeah.
Boots Radford had himself a night playing in the Turkish Basketball League for his team Final Sport. He had 40 points, 11 rebounds, and 5 assists. And hear this, 19.9 points per game in just his rookie season.
Yeah,
I mean, that's just
love me
incredible
some Boots
stuff.
Yeah, what a easy guy to root for.
Yeah, heck yeah. He's doing great.
Yeah. And last night's round of basketball games capped off the second annual SEC ACC Basketball Challenge.
Yeah, how'd that go?
SEC beat ACC teams 14-2. So
I know Kentucky lost. Who else lost?
Auburn lost too.
Auburn lost.
Yeah.
Duke beat Auburn.
Duke beat Auburn. And so Texas A&M obviously contributed to that, beating Wake Forest 57-44 last Tuesday. And
we didn't really get to talk. Well, you weren't here on the show yesterday. You were at work, and we'll talk to Logan Lee in a few minutes about that. But any thoughts about how the Aggies played in that one?
I thought it was one of those games where they didn't play well, but they still won by double figures. So
how many first half turnovers? 14.
14.
Yeah.
And now they played great on defense.
Yep.
They really did, but the offense was it was kind of hard to watch, and yet they still came away with against a team that was 7-2, maybe a little bit deceiving 7-2, but still 7-2, and beat them by 13 points?
Yeah.
Despite making like 18 turnovers and not shooting a high percentage and not getting to the free throw line like they typically do. So all the things they typically do, other than play good defense, to win, they did not do, and yet they still won by 13 points. Some say that would be the mark of a really good team.
Well, they shot so many threes in that game. I was like, attack the rim. I just want them to attack the rim, but what do I know?
I don't know. Maybe they saw that 7'1" guy waiting.
Well, that's probably why. But maybe he'll foul him. Maybe. That's why I'm not a coach, because I don't know. All right, we'll talk prizepicks.com/TexAgs. If you want to win $50, well, you're not going to win. They're just going to give you $50 once you sign up and use the password for TexAgs. Once you play in $5 lineups, 2 to 6 player stat projection. So moving on, there'll still be some football ones on there, OB, but basketball ones. So we could kind of come up with Wade Taylor. Let's say the number against Tech is, I'm just going to throw out a number. I don't even know if it's right. Let's say they say it's 14.5, more than or less than.
I would take more than. To me, the number on Wade to worry about is if they put 15.
Okay.
Because I think Wade is going to be around 15 typically.
Sure.
But he's not shooting as much as he has in the past.
Right.
So used to be if I saw 15 or 16, I'm okay, more than.
More than or less than. That's how you play. 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings roll. It is prizepicks.com/TexAgs. Use the code TexAgs to get those $50 once you play in $5 lineups.
What's up, TexAgs? This commercial break is brought to you by my good friends over at Aggieland Chevrolet, the official automotive sponsor of TexAgs.com and me, Billy Lucci. Greg Gunn is the proud owner of Aggieland Chevrolet and invites you to visit the dealership to experience true Aggie hospitality. From their friendly staff to the experienced service team, Aggieland Chevrolet is TexAgs approved. Check out the dealership off of Highway 6 in Bryan or go to AggielandChevrolet.com and tell them Billy Lucci sent you by.
And we're back on TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers Rollo Insurance Studio. Go Hour, presented by The Warehouse at CC Creations. OB, the craze is the Spotify rap. Did you have one?
The what?
The Spotify rap.
What is that?
Juan Marcos, explain at the Angry Elephant News and Social Center what the Spotify rap is.
So at the end of the year, Spotify, I hope you know what Spotify is, OB.
I got an idea. Isn't it like we're a music thing?
Yeah,
it's
like a radio
music
station.
app.
Yeah.
So at the end of the year, basically just takes your most listened to music, artists, all that, just compiles it all together into a playlist. It's pretty nice, pretty cool.
What do you think would be, I would guess on OB's, if he had Spotify, his number one would be George Strait?
Well, probably not number one, no.
Merle Haggard?
No.
So tell me, for 24, who do you think you would have listened to the most?
Jimmy Buffett.
Jimmy Buffett, okay.
Yeah, I'm a parrot head. But I like Tom Petty a lot.
Yeah.
And I like, of course, like you said, George Strait. And I like Waylon Jennings a lot. Brooks and Dunn, mainly country and classic rock and roll.
Yeah.
And Jimmy Buffett.
If you were to guess my top artist, who would they be?
Bad Bunny.
He was number one.
Yeah.
Who do you think number two was?
Bad Bunny, and then, I don't know, Rascal Rabbit.
He did not make the list, no.
I got a good laugh out of one.
Kanye West, are you familiar with his act?
I think isn't that what the Aggies run out to?
Yes. And then number three, Zach Bryan, who's apparently hated. Kay's booing him.
Well, then he must be
He's
good.
accused of having some kind of thing that he gave to somebody else and stuff like that.
Well, it's Christmas. I'm giving stuff to people.
Apparently he's been given a lot of something.
Okay.
So anyway, let's move on.
So why is Kay mad about that?
Because
he didn't give it to her, did he?
The T is he may have done stuff with somebody. Just never mind.
Okay.
This Heisman Watch is brought to you by the Shirtlift Law Firm, friend of our company, of course, TexAgs. We trust him with all of our legal needs. Call Shirtlift Law today when you need a lawyer for your business or personal issues. Obi-Wan, give us your list.
You know what? I'm not even bothering with five. I don't even have the five anymore.
You got two.
Really?
Three?
Pretty much.
Okay.
But, I think at number 4 on my list, now, I'm not saying, I'm not supposed to reveal a vote.
Don't reveal it.
But here's what I think people...
Why don't you just give me your 4 in whatever area? Like, it doesn't have to be 1, 2, 3, or 4. That way you don't get in trouble.
Okay. All right. Like one of the 4, I would probably have Cam Ward.
Cam Ward would definitely be in my 4.
Yeah, because, I think his last game, he was good, 349 yards passing and 2 touchdowns. So, I would definitely have him in there. He's second in the country.
Yep.
In passing. Do you know who leads the nation in passing this year?
Yep.
Who? You know?
Who led the pass? What's his name? The guy from Syracuse.
Yeah,
Kyle McCord.
Kyle McCord. I wonder if Ohio State wishes if they would have been able to keep him. I would also have Dylan Gabriel.
Okay.
The Oregon quarterback. I'd have him in my top 4, even though in his last game, he was pretty pedestrian. That was against Washington, but that was on November 30th, and he threw for 209 yards and 2 touchdowns. I don't know, he might have even rushed for one today. He did rush for a touchdown in that game. So I would definitely have him on that list. I would also have, I'm not saying if I'd have this guy number 1 or number 2 or wherever, but I'd have Travis Hunter.
Yep.
Travis Hunter, the Colorado receiver, he's 6th in the nation in receiving. 92 catches, 1,152 yards. Boy, the Aggies could use somebody like that. In his last game against Oklahoma State, 10 catches, 116 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Of course, he also plays defense. I think he finished the season, I want to say, with 4 interceptions. Let me look at that right quick. Yeah, 4 interceptions. He had one in that game against Oklahoma State.
Yep.
So that's truly Heisman worthy. And then the other guy that I've talked about all year, that everybody's talked about all year, that I'd have on that list is Ashton Jeanty, the Boise State running back.
He'd be on my list.
In his last game, 226 yards rushing and a touchdown against Oregon State. So, there are those that try to dismiss him because of his schedule. And I'm thinking, they played Washington State, they played Oregon State, they played Oregon, they played UNLV, which has one of the better run defenses. Is it really that much inferior to what, say, a Big 12 team would play?
No.
I don't think so. But anyway.
And the numbers are the numbers.
Yeah. He has 2,288 yards rushing and 28 touchdowns. And he has a game coming up this week. I think it's UNLV with a chance to add to that. And, understand he's doing that with every defense that he faces.
Trying to stop him.
Stacked to stop him.
Right.
And he's 2,288 yards. I think you get over 2,000 yards as a running back, and he's making a run at 2,500. I think you have to be considered a Heisman contender. He's going to have more games than Barry Sanders did, but he's probably going to exceed Barry Sanders' record, season record. Now, he's going to have more games because he's still got this conference championship game and then most likely a playoff game, if not a bowl game, if he decides to play in it. So he's going to get 2,600 yards, I bet. But I think Ashton Jeanty is I think he's having such a good year that it's hard to say he's not the most outstanding. So I would disagree with Deion Sanders, who said that Travis Hunter wrapped up the Heisman Trophy. Did you see that?
Yeah, but he has to say that for his guy, right?
Does he have to?
If he's Deion, yes. If it's Deion, he has to.
I mean, I do know that Bear Bryant once talked about John David Crow and said if they don't give it to him, they ought to stop giving it out or something to those. So it's not that unusual. But you just beat Oklahoma State, which was one of the worst teams. I mean, you want to talk about the caliber of competition. I don't think you brag too heavily about what you do to Oklahoma State, which just completely imploded this year. But there's no doubt that Travis Hunter is a strong candidate, but so is Ashton Jeanty.
I'm going to read a text that came in. I want to see if you agree with this, okay? This was sent at the top of the show. And here comes the sunshine pumping. Another greatest class ever for Texas A&M, according to TexAgs.
I never heard anyone say it's the greatest class ever. I heard it said it was a top 10 class, which it is.
Yeah.
That's not according to TexAgs. That's according to the
everybody.
Services.
Yeah. And I, because I do this. By the way, one of my New Year's resolutions, and you guys, I'm going to have the audience hold me to it, is to now allow me to go to war as often as I do with people, like especially like Texas fans on the chat. I'm just going to ignore. But this one was, I don't know how you got that from that first segment. I think it's a good class. I do. I think it's a really good class by Mike Elko. A top 10 class is a good class.
Yes, I think that
for Texas A&M, top 10 class is a good class. A great class.
I think a top 10 class is a great class.
And the reality is, you don't know how that class is going to play out until later, because the 22 class, how many of those players contributed against Texas or this season? Not many.
Not a lot. But
so that class that was heralded as the greatest ever, and not by us, by us, but not by us, everybody. Connor didn't play. Evan didn't play. Like, the guys that did play, Le'Veon didn't play because he was hurt, unfortunately. Like, that 22 class, which was supposed to gear up for this season to be a national championship contender, which, by the way, technically they were a contender until the end. But I digress. Nobody here said it was the greatest class ever. I think it's a really good class. Maybe it's a great class. We'll see how it plays out.
Well, once again, it was rated a top 10 class by the people that rate them, not by TexAgs. So to say that TexAgs is saying it's a great class is just not necessarily true. Now, I will say this to your point about, and I even said this, look, hopefully they'll develop them and they'll play like a top 10 class, but I have to go back. I think it was around 2014, but I may have to go back and check. Texas had like the second ranked class in the country. It was the year, I'd have to, I may have to go even further back than that. And it was the year I think they had Jordan Hicks and Jackson Jeffcoat, which were 2 5-star guys. And I don't think Texas in 4 years, those guys had an outstanding season.
Right.
So, we fully acknowledge that you have to develop them, and just getting a good class doesn't mean you're going to have great success on the field. But it's a great place to start. I always say it's like being a millionaire doesn't mean you're going to marry a supermodel, but it definitely increases your chances.
It elevates your chances, yes.
Right. So,
and in the SEC, to win, you need that level of talent.
You do. What I'm saying is, and I know Billy called me out. It was 2012, by the way, where Texas was number 2. Yeah, you celebrate a top 10 class. You do. I love getting guys that other people wanted.
Well, but I'd like to know what the proper response would be. If it's not to celebrate it, should we be like, this is who they did?
No, you celebrate it, you can get excited about it, but you also have to understand that it doesn't guarantee anything.
They got to prove it now.
You've got to, they got to prove it. You've got to develop it. Now, I will say this. I am much more confident in the current coaching staff's ability to develop a top 10 class than the previous one.
Yes.
Especially when I hear current players talk about what a circus, and that's the word that Torrey New York used, what a circus the program had been before.
We're so late. Poor Logan Lee's waiting for us. We'll hit a break here.
Sorry, Logan.
1775. It was weird yesterday talking 1775 with Lucci on set and Bronny. I mean, they can come with us. I don't mind. In fact, I'd like to take them there because
Lucci might buy.
He might buy, but I mean, let's be honest. It's like that's our thing. Let's if I'm gonna make it weird, let's make it even more weird. That's our thing.
Yeah, it's our thing unless someone else is willing to buy.
And then that's everybody's thing.
But if there is one place where I don't mind picking up the tab because I know I'm getting my money's worth because it's so good, it's 1775.
If you had to go, let's just say they specially opened for today, what would be your order?
For me, it would probably be some pork ribs, a little sausage on the side, and some queso mac and cheese. But hey, you know what? I like to feast on pork ribs. What can I tell you?
They're open Thursday through Saturday, 11 a.m. until they're sold out. Online ordering turns off at 10 a.m.
What would you get?
I would probably do, I think I want ribs today.
Ribs?
I'm a ribs kind of.
Ask them to have some broccoli on the side.
No, I don't know if I go broccoli today. I think I might go macaroni.
Would you
queso
go?
mac and cheese.
Yeah,
I think I would go with that.
Yeah, that's a have to.
It's 1775txbbq.com. Go check them out. And we're back on TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We're in the Rollo Insurance Studio. It is the Go Hour, presented by the Warehouse at CC Creations. David Nuño, Olin Buchanan, and Logan Lee. What's up, man?
What's happening?
How you been?
Good. After they beat Wake Forest and they went 2-1 in Vegas.
Well,
I'm great now.
Well, OB and I were here Thursday doing the Thanksgiving show, and we were waiting for you to show up for your
You
hit.
told me you weren't. You told me we weren't doing
I'm
it.
kidding. We recorded.
Oh man.
So beating Wake Forest, what was your takeaway from that game? Because that was an ugly
That was
game.
a really ugly game. I think the takeaway from that is they played. I don't want to say they played bad, but they played subpar for what we expect from them, and they won by double digits. Their defense was suffocating.
Mm-hmm.
I think Wake Forest shot 20% from the 3-point line and 25% for the game from the floor, and so their defense was able to carry them. The other bright spot, huge, bright, shining spot, was the fact that the first play of the game, they go to Henry Coleman and on the block, and he scores, turning over his left shoulder. Nice little right-handed hook to the baseline. I believe the second play that Pharrell Payne was in the game, they went to him, and he scored. Both of them had double-digit scoring. That's something that we haven't seen in
ever. Since Nebo left.
Since Nebo left, which was Buzz's first year.
Yeah.
And so that's a good thing. That's the evolution and the growth of this team. Now, if they could get production like that from the post and add some 3-point shooting, this is a really good team. If that happens, their defense is solid.
Yeah,
their rebounding
really good.
rebounding is solid.
It is, even though they didn't rebound at the same level against Wake.
I agree.
The things we were talking about earlier, the things that they typically do offensively, because yes, the defense was outstanding.
Yep.
But the things they typically do offensively to win games, they didn't do.
It was reversed.
Right? They weren't dominant necessarily on the boards, especially offensive. They was it 18 turnovers?
16.
I thought it was 14 just in the first half.
I mean, it was something like that.
Yeah, 14
because in the first 5 minutes, I think they had 6.
Yeah, and then they didn't get to the free throw line as frequently as they did, and yet still found a way to win.
Yep.
And I'm not sure how to. You were already touching on it, but I'm not sure how to interpret that. Do you say it's the old adage? Hey, it's a good team if they can play poorly and still win, or why are you struggling on offense? This could be a real problem.
I think it's both.
Okay.
Nuño. I think it is a problem.
Okay.
I think it's a problem that they scored 54 points. I think it's a problem that they shot 23% from the 3-point line. That's if they can't get better, which we keep saying after each game, that'll come. That'll come. They're going to do it. But it's what, 8 games now? 8 games in. You're almost a third. You're almost a third of the way through. And
okay, here's what I'm still waiting on. You tell me what.
9 games. 9 games. Sorry.
Either way, they're about a third through this, or maybe more than a third.
Yeah.
But anyway, 25%. It's the thing that concerns me the most is Phelps, and he's I think he can give you. I mean, he looks like he can be dynamic, but he turns the ball over a lot so far, and I think his outside shooting has been somewhat erratic.
I agree, but I think I'm not overly concerned with him right now, and the reason being is because I think, one, he's still trying to find his role on this team.
Fair.
He is when you look at SMU, they play differently than what A&M plays, and he's accustomed to playing that way. And now he has I think he has more talent around him, so he doesn't have to do everything that he was having to do. I mean, I think he was scoring almost 20 points a game at SMU. He's not going to do that here. Now, the number of shots, the volume of shots, he could do that if he had a higher percentage. But I think just like Wade Taylor, sometimes they get into, let me get a heat check real quick, and I'm going to fire up this shot, or I'm going to take it to the basket, and they don't take the best, they don't have the best shot selection. Once he learns his role, and once Buzz works the bigs and Wade and Phelps and Manny and everybody into this mold that he does every single year, I don't have a worry about him.
Okay.
I think the turnovers will be cut down, which they're too high right now. They're way too high right now. But I think the turnovers will be cut down when you get the cohesion with the team and him. And I think they're doing a decent job, but they're just not there yet. And they're still winning games.
Are you okay with the number of threes they shoot?
Not at the percentage that they're missing.
Because I don't think 22 is a huge number, but for a team that misses as much as they do, that's where I guess where my problem is. Like, I feel like they fall in love with it in these stretches where it's like 2-3 threes in a row, and like, let's try to work it back to Henry.
Well, I think that'll work itself out. Especially, I have a lot more confidence that it'll work itself out after the Wake Forest game, because they did go to the block with Coleman and with Furrow Payne. So I think that'll work itself out. But also, they're going to take more threes than normal for other teams in comparison,
because they can rebound.
Yeah, and that's just the thought process. You've heard Buzz say that in every post-game presser. Get the ball on the rim, we'll go get it. That's when the offense starts. Get the ball on the rim.
That's their initiation.
That is, hey, it's go time now.
Yeah.
The ball's in the air, let's go get it. And I mean, you can't argue that.
It's working.
Now Wake Forest did out-rebound them on the offensive boards.
Yeah,
which is
16-11 or something.
Yeah, which is crazy to me.
15-13.
But A&M out-rebounded in totality by what? 10, 12? 10?
I think it was like 43-33.
43-33.
There you go. And let's not forget, let's give a bunch of credit to Anderson Garcia.
Oh, yeah, he's amazing.
I love him.
I mean, got a bug here. Anyways,
why'd you bring
it? Anderson Garcia, 14 rebounds.
Is that all?
On the defensive glass.
16 rebounds, 12 defensive rebounds.
Oh, I thought it was
offensive.
14 and 4. So it's 16 total.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
that's pretty good. I mean,
and I don't know. This is why I like going to games and not necessarily watching them on TV, because you get to see some of the little interactions. There was a rebound. It was second half, opposite of Wake Forest's bench, and it was just a wide open rebound. No one was going after it, and Andy was there, and Wade Taylor was there, and Andy was going to grab it, and Wade swoops in, and I don't know if Anderson said something to him or what, but as soon as Wade took it, he took a dribble, and then he looked back and was like, my bad.
Well, it's funny you mentioned Wade, because I really want to hear what you have to say about this, because you're a point guard, allegedly.
Allegedly.
So what's going on with, so from the point guard mentality, what's going on with Wade? He's not shooting as much. He's passing up some shots that he normally would have taken. Just what's going on with him?
I don't think anything's going on with him. I think that he's very comfortable in his abilities, and he knows when.
When I say what's going on, I don't necessarily mean that it has negative connotations.
I think he's allowing the team to get in a rhythm. I think now you see where he does take some crazy shots, but that's
Wade.
But he can make those, though, and if he makes one of those, he could make the next 6. And so I think right now he's very comfortable in his capabilities. And why'd you bring him in?
Get back over where you came from.
I think he's very comfortable in his capabilities, and that allows him he can get hot at any moment, and he knows that. And so I think he is deferring to Zurich a little, get him in a rhythm, get him in a better mentality. And then
we got to hit a break.
Yeah, go
All
ahead.
right, we'll hit a break. We'll come back with a short segment on the other side. Brad's Running Company, located at Century Square. Aggie owned and operated specialty running store with an outstanding selection of running gear. They've got the best shoes. If you're into fitness, you're a runner or a walker, whatever it may be, let them help you get the right shoes for you. And holiday shopping has already started, so you should check out the Brazos Running Company. They will take great care of you there at Century Square. All right, check them out below the Star Cinema Grill in College Station. It is the Brazos Running Company. As a reminder, the final segment of the show is brought to you by Double Dave's. That's at 10:50. But right now, caller number 12, 979-693-1150 will hook you up with your choice of a dozen pepperoni rolls, Royal Large, one-topping pizza from Double Dave's. They've been serving Aggieland since 1984 with your favorite pizza and, of course, those world-famous pepperoni rolls. Reliable in-house delivery, bringing piping hot goodness straight to your door. Just click on doubledaves.com, and your favorites are on their way. Logan, we've got Texas Tech, Purdue, and then a little bit of easier as you ease into SEC play with Texas to start.
As you ease into SEC that has 9 teams in the top 25, right, and what is it, 12 teams that are predicted to get into the tournament.
And just own the ACC and the challenge.
Just owned the ACC, except for Duke. Holy cow.
And Clemson.
Cooper Flagg's kind of good.
He is very good at the game of basketball. Would you be happy with the split of these next two?
Yep. I would. Just as Obi was saying in the break, that would mean you went 2-1 in Vegas. You're going 2-1 in this next 3 games against Wake Forest, an ACC team Texas Tech, a Big 12 team, Purdue, Big 10, maybe.
Yeah.
Yes, again, it's all going to depend on how they play. If they go out and they beat Texas Tech and then they flop against Purdue, then no, I won't be happy. If they go about and it's a tough game against Texas Tech and possibly lose, which I don't think that will happen. I think they're going to beat Texas Tech. I think Purdue's the game that's going to determine really where they're at and how they're going to move into SEC.
Got to drop it there. Coming back, it's TexAgs Live. And we are back here on TexAgs Live. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We're in the Rollo Insurance Studio. It is hour number 2 of the program, Bird Dog Time. They're an Aggie-owned and operated company creating access to hunting opportunities. Think of it as a Airbnb for hunters and for ranchers. They streamline the booking process, making it very easy to find your hunts and transparent and easy. They also make it easy for the landowners to make some money and make sure that your property is shown to thousands and thousands of people who are checking out Bird Dog every day. They provide a full-service hunting experience for corporate groups, friends, and fellowship. They provide all the logistics so you can just have fun while you're there with your guys having a good old time. They can elevate those experiences with add-on live music, helicopter hunting, cooking classes, and much more. They're currently partnered with 60-plus ranches and are growing that supply daily. They have something for every kind of hunter, brand new hunters and seasoned hunters. Their website is birddogit.com. Go check it out. All right, let's go to the Boss Firearms Hotline. I believe we have Ryan Swope there to chit-chat this morning. Swopey, good morning, buddy.
Hey, David, how we doing, man?
Good, man. How are you?
Doing pretty good. Just saw that we had a big signing day yesterday. That's exciting.
Yeah, so I guess we'll start there because, look, I know they've had good recruiting classes before, and the results on the field have not met what we want it to be for obvious reasons. But you got to start with recruiting, Ryan, right? Like, that's where it all starts.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I think Texas A&M continues to recruit at a high level, which is exciting. I think Coach Elko and our staff up there, I think that they've really got an eye for talent. And now it's just a matter of just developing these guys and getting them here. And, obviously everybody's goal is win a championship. And I know Elko and Colin Klein and all those guys have those same goals. And now you just got to go out and, pick those guys that are going to help you give you a chance to do that. So now we get these guys here on campus in the spring and here over the summer as well, and just start going to work and get after it and just get a fresh start. So a lot to look forward to. Obviously last weekend didn't go the way we wanted, but it's at least, we come off and we got some really good recruits. And I think a lot of recruits probably come here at least last weekend and saw just this environment, the 12th man at its best, how loud that place gets. It's there's no other place like it. So if I was a recruit, I wouldn't have much thought about it because I'd want to go be a part of that.
Ryan, look, having a great recruiting class does not ensure anything, but not getting a great recruiting class probably ensures you're not winning in the SEC.
I'm sorry, David, you're breaking out. What was that?
That I think we've had some phone issues there with Brian broadcasting. Nick may send you a link here in a second if it continues. But basically what I was saying, Ryan, is that a great recruiting class does not ensure a championship, but not getting a great recruiting class probably means you're not winning in the SEC.
No, man, those stars don't mean nothing. At least in my eyes, they don't. I think that sometimes you recruit too many big stars and you get there, you try to get a trophy for a recruiting class that really doesn't get you anywhere. You want to just go out and recruit character and, find those hidden gems that are hungry and ready to go to work. So, I pay a little bit of attention to the recruiting, but I don't give too much, I don't get too much into the grading and the stars part of it. I think you really know what you have once these guys show up and start getting to work, and then obviously once what they can do here in September. So it's definitely exciting that we're getting some big time recruits, but this is just the beginning, and then the work starts when they get here.
When you look at the wide receivers, because obviously you were an elite wide receiver here at Texas A&M, like, is it a talent thing? Is it the quarterback not seeing them thing? Like, how would you assess the wide receiver play this year?
Unfortunately, I didn't think that we did as well as I would have hoped. I will say I thought we had a pretty slow start, and if anything, I thought that the receivers actually played better towards the end of the year. At least some guys stepped up and started making some plays, but overall, I wasn't real impressed. I think Noah Thomas did a good job ending the year. All-Day Walker, I thought, had a good game, a couple good games in there. He's a physical receiver. He's big. But then again, we lack speed at the receiver position, and if you don't have speed, quite frankly, in the SEC, you're going to get beat. And so I think that we definitely could improve in the receiver room. I think that we lack depth, and I think that we lack speed. And so we definitely need to hopefully go out and recruit some receivers and just get a little bit more depth. And we just need a target that we can depend on. Honestly, that's what we really miss. I feel like on 3rd and short or 4th and 1 or whatever it might be, it's great running the football, but it's also nice to have somebody in your back pocket that you can depend on that is going to go get the first down. So I just feel like we lack that piece, and if we can get that, we'll be okay.
How do you kind of categorize this year? When you look at the season it was, and there were some highs for sure, the 7-1 start, the crashing end to the season that includes losing to your rival. Just how do you look at it as a success, as a work in progress? Break down what you see from this season, what you saw from this season.
Yeah, I mean, I think that they exceeded my expectations because coming into it, I was thinking, 6-7 wins is pretty good for Coach Mike Elko's first year, and so then you go into the season and you bump Florida around and you get a couple good wins. You lose a quarterback, but you continue to find a way to win. And you look up, you're 7-1, and then we just kind of hit a log jam. And I think that there's a lot of work to be done. This is a young team. I think we're still trying to find our identity. I love the culture of this football team. There's a lot of positives I take away from it, but there's also a lot of negatives and the things that we need to improve on. Just because, I think that just across the board from just, and we had some unfortunate breaks too. You got to remember Le'Veon Moss going down really hurt our football team. We've had some injuries around. So I think that this team collectively exceeded the expectations that I had for them, which is great. But also we were kind of in the driver's seat and we kind of lost sight to the end goal. So we definitely need to hopefully, this is a learning experience and refocus. And, I know Coach Elko and these guys have put a bad taste in their mouth. And I know that they're going to, hopefully get this end on a good note and get a bowl game win and then go into the off season and get to work. And that's all you can do. And I love Coach Elko and the culture he brings to this university. And I think he just gives us a great chance moving forward to compete in this league day in, day out. But I certainly think, losing to Texas, that sucks. It's super sensitive in my family, just being from Austin. And unfortunately, just not to get that win, it just was, just puts a bad taste in my mouth and all Aggie's mouth, but it's part of it. Hey, at least we don't have to wait another decade to play him. So that's the good thing. We strap it up next year with him, and we'll try to get him again next year.
How do you look at that game? Because to me, they got their butts kicked, yet they had a chance. It was weird. It didn't feel as close as the score was. And yes, I know that you can say it could have gotten way worse. But there were a play or two away from making that very interesting. And unfortunately, that's been the case for A&M too many times. So I'm not happy with that. I'm just pointing out you convert on that 4th and 1 with a field goal or a touchdown to start off the game. It kind of just, the whole game feels different.
Yeah, we got whipped up front, the line of scrimmage, and that's where it all starts. And I know it's cliche. We always say that, but it really does. They were able to just basically control the clock. They run the football. And we just were fortunate to, our defense kept us in the game with a pick six and a takeaway. And then obviously that special teams block punt. Next thing you know, you look up and we're right back in the game. But unfortunately, our offensively, we just didn't execute. We didn't make some big time conversions that we should have. There's a couple drop passes that, would have changed the outcome of the game, I think. And ultimately, you just wish that you had those back. But I think that, this team, Coach Elko and these guys, they'll build off of some of those mistakes that were made. And we'll just have to get after them next year in Austin, which will be a tough task. Because I do think that's a good football team we played, but I do think we can beat that team. I think we should have beat that team. 12th man, it was an electric environment. And quarter was a little stagnant, but fourth quarter, we finally got the ball in the end zone. And but they're a good team. I think they probably got a good shot at, hate saying it, but they probably got a good shot at winning this thing.
Does it feel like we're close, Ryan? In your eyes, does it feel close, or I still think we're a couple years away?
Oh man, David, that's a great question. I don't even know what to think at this time. I think that we've, I think Marcel Reed, moving forward, I don't know, the quarterback situation. I don't know who that's going to be, but I figured it's probably going to be him. I saw a lot of good things from him. There's, some things that I didn't care for, just taking care of the football. But look, the kid went out there and he stepped in and he gave us a chance, and he was young, and he came off the bench and put us in a position to compete. So you got to look at that and go, man, that's something. That's a lot of positive right there for a young kid to step in there, thrown out there after Connor going down, and he was gritty and he's fast. We just got to find a way to get him more involved in this offense. I think whether that's rolling him out, which I think he's really good at passing when he's on the run. He's very efficient, very accurate. And so I wish we could have seen a little bit more play action and rolling him out, which gives him an option to run, pass, or whatever's open. But just trying to get him in some space, I think is probably our best bet with Marcel Reed. I think he's a really talented kid, and I think he's got a lot of potential. I really do.
So let's say they add a couple of, let's say they add a star at wide receiver, just one, and a couple of nice pieces to go along with what they have. How different does the offense look next year?
Yeah, David, I'm sorry, I'm having trouble hearing you. What did you say at the first about a star?
Yeah, let's just say they add a potential star wide receiver. How different does this offense look next year?
Oh man, if we can just get an elite like a Mike Evans in this system, or just another Anai Smith or Christian Kirk, and a healthy running back, I feel pretty good. I really do. I feel, offensive line exceeded my expectations. I thought that they did a hell of a job. If anybody out of all the position groups, I thought that they probably, played the best and were most impressed with. Even after, battling some injuries, they were all very, I felt like, maybe towards the end of the year they got whipped in South Carolina game. But other than that, they were good, and then we just need to get a dude, that can stretch the field and that brings that speed. I'm telling you, we lack speed. If we can get a playmaker, somebody that's dependable and that has that top end speed, I think we're going to be pretty dangerous next year. So, but I think, and we've got, is Le'Veon, is he coming back, right?
We hope. I don't think anything's been decided yet, but I think that it's trending in that direction.
I hope so, too. I mean, and that guy's a beast, and it's so unfortunate he had to go down, but I hope we can get him back next year because he's fun to watch, and he certainly, once he went down, I feel like it kind of deflated our football team a little bit. So I'm hoping we can get Le'Veon back, but if we get one more speedster out there receiver, I think it would really, really help.
Ryan, do you pay attention to the Bulls at this point? Because when you played, Bulls mattered, and it feels like they don't matter as much anymore. But I feel like for a young team like Coach Elko has, not only do you need these practices, this could be you've got to find ways to win games. In November, there wasn't winning, so let's end it with a win.
Yeah, I mean, these bowl games, look, they mean absolutely nothing. But, look, it's almost like, I think, a spring game. It's a great opportunity for some younger kids to go out there and, make a name for themselves and give us some hope going into next year. I think also there's a fine line of being careful and going out and you don't want to get injured. Some of these guys they sit out of these bowl games just because they don't want to get injured and potentially hurt their stock moving forward, which I completely understand, especially with NIL and all this stuff going on nowadays. But it's also a great opportunity for some of these kids to go out and compete. And I think we'll end up. Has it been decided who we're playing, David? Do we know yet?
Nope. We'll find out Sunday.
Okay. Well, regardless, it'll be a great opportunity. I know these guys will be ready to play, and not only that, David, but these bowl games are a lot of fun, man. A lot of these kids, seniors, it's their last game, and so which is important. You got to keep in mind these kids. It could be their last football game, and so. It'll be fun regardless, whoever we play, wherever we play, and I think we'll get it done. So I really trust this staff, this team, and it's just part of the process. And it'd be great if we could get a W and take that on to the off season with us.
So Ryan, to close out, encouraged with the season, but still a lot of work to do.
Yeah, I'm I'm kind of middle of the road. There's a lot of encouraging things to look forward to, but there's also some things that we need to work on and build off of, which, I think that if anything, they exceeded our expectations, there early in the season. Now we just need to learn how to finish. And I think Coach Elko and these guys, they'll, all the guys coming back next year, they'll remember that and they'll learn from it. So there's a lot of positive out of this season. I think that, it's a good thing. It's something as a player, as a coach, as a young kid, you learn from your mistakes and obviously you remember those losses and you grow from them. And so moving forward, I think I'm excited about Coach Elko and the culture and the environment and the character he's bringing in this football team. He continues to recruit at a high level. And so as an Aggie fan, you got a lot to look forward to. And on top of that, let me just say that 12th man on Saturday, I was down on the field, and I don't think I turned to a couple guys, and I truly don't think I've ever heard Kyle Field as loud as it was on Saturday night. So hats off to the 12th man. They brought it, and they always bring it, and it was just a crazy environment. If we can continue to do that, we're going to continue to recruit and bring in recruits, and one day hopefully we'll be competing for a championship, and hopefully it's next year.
Ryan, thanks so much for your work this season, man. We'll talk to you around the bowl game, all right?
Hey, I appreciate it, man. Gig 'em.
Gig 'em. Ryan Swope there on the Boss Firearms Hotline. Appreciate his time here on the program. We'll hit a break. We'll come back with Aaron Torres with Around College Football. Right now we're talking Rollo Insurance. The difference is real. They're an independent insurance company built around educating you on exactly what you're paying for, doing the shopping for you so that you can accomplish all of your insurance goals. They can write any form of insurance to anyone. And they've got offices all around the great state of Texas. We're talking about 60 offices in the great state of Texas. But their headquarters is right here on Highway 6. So that's why you'll see their staff all around town, part of the community, sporting events, you name it. Jason, Jackson, Keith, Morgan, the whole team over there at Rollo Insurance wants to take great care of you. They can do your homeowners insurance, your car owners insurance, your farmers, your ranchers, your hobby farmers, your business owners. That's the kind of insurance they do. They do it all, right? And their priorities are God, family, and country. Check out the website. It is rolloinsurance.com/TexAgs or go to 888-44-ROLLO. Again, that is rolloinsurance.com/TexAgs or call them up 888-44-ROLLO. It's Rollo Insurance. Got me. They got me, AT. They got me. Welcome back to TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. It is hour number 2 of the program. It's time for Around College Football, brought to you by Milliken Reserve, a College Station community featuring homes, trails, farms, and wide open spaces with a mission to build a healthy community around nature. Take part in the Milliken Reserve community by getting a Conservancy membership. Learn more at millikenreserve.com. Aaron Torres is on the Boss Firearms Hotline. AT, when I go in the back, I turn off the microphone pack so, chatter isn't out there. So I forgot to turn it back on, so I apologize. What's up, buddy?
Thought there were some technical difficulties. I thought it was on my end. I literally was checking the volume on my computer, and I was like, this has never been an issue before. And then less than 5 seconds later, you turned on your mic pack. So we're good. How you doing, man?
I'm all right. It's, football didn't end the way I wanted it to, but life is good, man. Basketball's looking better, and family is good. That's what matters, buddy.
That is what matters. I hope everybody's having a good couple weeks before the holiday. You got any big plans? I mean, you seem to travel a lot. Every bye week, you're on a jet somewhere. You got anything exciting for the Christmas holiday?
Buddy, I haven't been on a plane or a jet for personal reasons at all.
Oh, personal. Oh, now it's personal reasons. Okay.
No, I'm just saying, I drove.
Your son's athletic achievements is not a personal reason? Just business?
Wait.
Are you an NIL agent now? My goodness.
What I'm saying is I haven't been on a plane. I mean, when TexAgs sends me to cover a game, I've been on a plane. But when on the bye week, I went hunting one weekend, and I drove.
I heard about that,
yeah. I drove. What did I do the last one? Did I have a soccer tournament probably? I drove.
I think so, yeah.
I drive.
You're in Miami for something. That seems like a long drive from College Station, but what do I know?
When did I go to Miami?
I don't know. 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago?
No.
What it feels like.
No.
Everything blurs. Once the season starts, everything blurs together. So I don't know. Maybe it was like 2021. I don't know.
I did drive to Miami during the summer. During the summer, when you have 4 kids, you don't fly, bro. It's $1 billion.
Oh, I guess. I just feel like the counter to that, and I'm sure your children are lovely, spending what is that? 18 hours in a car with 4 kids? That doesn't sound that much more appealing. But no. I'm sure they're lovely, though. I'm sure they're lovely.
I love my kiddos. All right, so...
how long was the drive, real quick? Because I know we got business to talk about, but how long was the drive?
We break it up. I think we went to Atlanta for soccer tournament. That was 10, 11, 12 hours. Then we drove to Orlando, which is another 6 hours. And I think Miami... I think the whole thing to Miami, if you did it nonstop, was like 18, 19 hours.
Yeah, that's what I said, 18 hours. Look at me.
Hey, we just lost everybody. They went to the Travel Network to get real travel information. So, AT.
What's up?
Kind of your opinion of Mike Elko year one. Give me your thoughts.
Yeah, it's funny because I really thought it was a success. And then, I was talking to our intern who runs our Torres on Texas A&M Twitter page, and I think he was really disappointed. I think when you look at the big picture of in September, if I tell you 8-4, it's not ideal, but it's obviously growth from year over year. You'd sit there, and I don't want to speak for A&M fans. I mean, you tell me. I think most A&M fans, 8-4, you probably take it. Texas is going to be tough. Notre Dame's going to be tough. Florida's on the road, whatever. But then obviously you sit back and you peel back the layers and you enter November 7-1 and you're playing for everything. And you obviously finish down the stretch 1-3. You lose to what we now know is a pretty good South Carolina team. The Auburn loss stings. Then, of course, we know what happened last Saturday. So I think it's probably a success. I mean, especially by the way, your starting quarterback gets hurt. You have to replace him. But I also understand the frustration of you're 7-1 going into November, going into a bye week, whatever. And maybe it wasn't a bye week, but you're going in 7-1. Your whole season's ahead of you. And you lose your last 3 SEC games, and it's frustrating. I understand that. So,
yeah, look, I think I predicted 8-4. I'm not happy with 8-4. I am happy with the CEO that is Mike Elko. That I am happy with. Like I'm very happy with that. I think he's going to get it right, but it's disappointing to finish the way they did. And look, you could point at reasons. People hate reasons. You can point at Le'Veon Moss going down that changed the offense, and it clearly did. 100% changed it. And then you can say, well, you shouldn't rely on just one person. I'm not saying that's the reason A&M lost those games. I'm just saying short yardage situations, he was your guy.
Against South Carolina, you had several short yardage situations you didn't get. Same thing against Texas. And I think Le'Veon out there in that kind of world is good for a couple of those.
Sure. Yeah, no, and listen, I think you could sit there and say, oh, one player shouldn't matter. One player does matter. I mean, listen, look at Ohio State. They have not been the same since their starting left tackle went down. You ask an Ohio State fan, we're Ohio freaking State. One injury is not an excuse, but it has clearly changed their team. By the way, Alabama without Jalen Milroe, he's their entire offense. And so, again, I think what you said is right. People don't want reasons, especially when you end the regular season the way that you did. But I do think it's part of it. By the way, you had a couple short yardage situations. You don't need me to rehash and reiterate what happened last Saturday, but you had a couple short yardage situations where you could have used them as well. So I think that's the disappointing part. And I think, it speaks to kind of what he inherited. There were some real strengths in some areas. There were some real weaknesses in others. And unfortunately, that's part of a rebuild. That's part of a reload. And you can talk about the portal this, you can talk about the portal that. It still does take time, and it still does. I mean, just to flip a roster, it doesn't happen overnight, no matter what fans think about the portal, whatever. And so, again, I understand why you're frustrated, but I also think there were some bright spots. And I do think, like you said, I think what you said is probably right, is that 8-4 was probably about right. It's just how you got to 8-4, which is obviously the disappointing part.
Yeah, I mean, you're November, you got a chance. Shoot, the last game of the season, you had a chance to go to the playoffs, right?
No doubt.
That's the difficult part. So, Texas and Georgia this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Look, maybe it's because I feel like I can't have nice things, but I feel like, and I know I'm in the minority here, I thought Texas was the better team against Georgia in the second half. I think they got bamboozled in the first half. I thought Georgia didn't have to play. Now, it got a little interesting for a little bit, right? I don't know, though, because I've made the comment that I didn't think Texas had been challenged this season with that schedule, and I still stand by that. I also think it doesn't matter. They're a really good football team worthy of a top 4 seed.
Well, I think what you said about them not being challenged is accurate, and I think that's why they came out slow against Georgia. Is that Georgia to that point had already played Alabama, they had already played Clemson, they played Kentucky on the road, which isn't a tough game, but Kentucky plays real defense. And so I actually agree with you and I think that's part of people kind of seem to forget that about the first Texas-Georgia game, or I guess it would be technically the first Texas-Georgia game, is we spend so much time talking about, Alabama, when they played Georgia, they jumped out to this huge lead and Georgia rallied. And it's like, well, I think it was, I don't remember off the top, I think it was 23-0 that Georgia was up. And Texas cut it to 23-16 before Georgia was able to ultimately put it away. So, listen, Georgia is going to make the playoff. They're deserving, but they're a flawed team, and they've been a flawed team all year. By the way, we all watched that 8 overtime game against Georgia Tech. Probably should have lost that game. I mentioned the Kentucky game they could have lost. These are the games that they won that could have lost, and they, of course, have 2 losses on top of it to Bama and Ole Miss. So, to me, I'm with you. I don't know if it's blasphemy to talk about Texas in a positive light on these airwaves, but they've been the most complete team all year. I think they have their limitations. I don't think Ewers is what we thought he was going to be, but they've been obviously running the ball very effectively as well. And then I think the thing that we don't give Sark enough credit for is, we talk about all these offensive coaches like Lincoln Riley that can't figure out the defensive side of the ball. Texas has the best defense in the SEC, maybe the best defense in all of college football. So to me, I'm with you. They're the more complete team. They haven't been great, but I don't feel like there's been ebbs and flows where they've looked really bad. Georgia has had several ebbs and flows throughout this year, peaks and valleys, where those valleys have been really bad. And so I'm with you. I think Texas is the more complete team. I think Texas wins Saturday in Atlanta.
Here's where Texas fans will get mad at me again. I think their defense is legit. I saw it, right? It's legit. I also don't know how many great offenses they faced this year.
Sure.
I mean,
yeah, it's tough. Real quick, it's tough because I was looking at some stuff even before we came on air specific to that game, and it's like I think the stat is they've given up under 250 yards 3 or 4 of the last 5 games, whatever it is, and it's like on the one hand that's that's great. On the other hand, we know A&M's offensive limitations. Certainly Kentucky, we know there. Arkansas is up and down. They turn the ball over a lot. So it's like I think what you said is accurate, is you don't well, I don't want to speak for you. You don't want to discredit what they've done, but I do think there's questions about how good some of the competition has been, no doubt.
All right, last thing for you. How many SEC teams get into the playoffs? And who are they?
So I think Alabama is going to be the fourth team if a fourth team gets in. I'll try to be quick, and if you got to cut me off, I won't be offended. But listen, I don't think Alabama's that good. I do think head-to-head should matter. I think South Carolina's playing the best, and I agree with what Shane Beamer said. I think the fact that they got basically zero credit for going on the road and beating Clemson is mind-boggling to me. So it'll be interesting. I think what'll be really interesting is obviously the scenario where SMU loses. Rhett Lashley is already starting the narrative of why are we playing this game if we're going to be punished for it. So I don't think it's smart for me to say what we're going to do because we've never seen the committee put in this situation. I'll say SMU wins. Alabama gets in as the fourth team from the SEC into the 12-team college football playoff.
AT, I appreciate you, brother. Thanks so much for your time, man.
All right, buddy. We'll talk soon. Thank you.
Hey, I think we're moving to regular time next week. I'll text you, okay?
I don't know what that means, but okay.
We used to do 9:35, then we moved to the 9:20.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I see what you're saying. Now. All right.
We'll talk soon, buddy. Thank you.
All right.
Aaron Torres there around college football, brought to you by Milliken Reserve. We'll hit a break. We'll come back with Jim Turner right now. If you're looking for a reason to come back to Aggieland or already in Aggieland looking for a great opportunity with a new job, you should reach out to the Association of Former Students because they're looking to hire professionals, and they have a lot of different positions that are open. So like for myself, when I wanted to move to College Station, it worked out great. Billy called me. Well, the association is bringing people here, so you should look at the openings, sometimes in fundraising, former student programs, marketing, sales side, a lot of different areas. They are the nation's premier alumni association and the oldest organization serving Texas A&M in support of that Aggie network. They play a part in every Aggie story from Howdy to here. Don't miss opportunities to help out the association with Howdy Socials, Aggie Ring Day, Class Reunion, Aggie Muster, and everything in between. Join a team that exemplifies those core values of excellence, integrity, leadership, loyalty, respect, and selfless service, all in support of that worldwide Aggie network. If you're interested in joining a team or sharing with someone that would be a great fit, please visit tx.ag/association jobs to apply and get more information on each position. It is the Association of Former Students.
I know this is on Nick's playlist. It's TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We're in the Rollo Insurance Studio. We're going to hear from Jim Turner here in a moment. But right now I want to talk about Chance McClain and Heritage Films. They make documentary films, and I think documentary films are awesome. I like watching them. I like watching them with my family. And I liked my dad being a part of one, right? It's cool, and he can do that for you. Documentaries are just like the true story, right? The story from the source. That's what we did with my pops. Chance McClain and his team interviewed him, and they lit up the house. They brought the cameras, they brought the crew, and they knocked it out in a couple hours. And then 8 weeks later, we had this awesome documentary. And I highly recommend that you check out Chance McClain and his company. They can do it for your family. They also do a Yearflix, which is an awesome option as well. 20-minute video Q&A. That's more reserved for the youngers, like for freshman year of college, sophomore year. You can do another one and have a 4-part series when they graduate from A&M. The website is yourheritagefilm.com, 713-893-8341, 713-893-8341. All right, we caught up with Jim Turner yesterday. Held that for today. Check it out as we break down what happened against Texas and looking ahead. All right, it's time for Schools in Session with Jim Turner, brought to you by Duck Camp. Duck Camp gear made for people that live for the moments out there, where there are fish to catch, birds to hunt, a time to kill, and football to watch. Check it out at duckcamp.com. Coach Turner, so yesterday was signing day, and a big haul, 5 offensive linemen. Yep. The defensive line looked great as well. But to you, recruiting goes deeper than just what you see on the field at the high school level. It's much more than that, especially for your own program.
Yeah, 100%. So, when you're recruiting, I think the big thing is, they have the results of what they've done in their lifetime in high school and all that stuff. And that's really all you have to work from. But the biggest thing for me is when you meet the kid, you have to figure out, is he going to translate that or transfer that into a better player, a developing player, and a player that has character, a player that comes to win football games. Some guys take it as a trophy. So if they get offered by Texas A&M and Notre Dame and USC, to them it's like a trophy, and so it's almost like they're done then. Some kids are done after high school. Like emotionally, they played all their football. This was their trophy, and they're going to move forward. But they're not going to give everything they got. You have to find the ones that the ones that'll die for the cause, the ones they want to play in the NFL. Like, one of my questions to all the recruits is, do you want to play in the NFL? Now, he could be a 5-star, 5-rated, 5 everything. I don't care. And if I ask him that question, hey, do you want to play in the NFL? And I just throw it in there at some point in the early visit. If he says, if he hesitates, or he says, nah, I really don't care, I just want to play in college, I don't like that. I'm off of that individual, because I want somebody that wants to be a rock star. I want somebody that wants this at all cost. And so I think if you have 80 guys or 100 guys, whatever the numbers are today, in your program that think that way, now you have a program that's just filled with winners, guys that want to be great. And if that's the case, they're going to compete against each other, and they're not going to, when you say, hey, you're the second team guy, they're not going to settle for that. They're going to fight for that first team spot. And when you have X amount of players at each position fighting for that spot, now you got a great situation as a coach.
I think that can translate to the business world as well, school, you name it. Coach, take it away.
Yeah, and the other thing is, I look like at my position, and of course all positions, is leadership, right? So, and leadership just comes from a desire, again, to be great, right? And so I want to know from that coach, like if you look at the Houston Texans right now, and if you're C.J. Stroud, like everybody's talking about C.J. Stroud, all this other stuff with the Texans. And to me, right, if you're C.J. Stroud, okay, that's a hard job right now. Okay, I think he's a great player. And that's a hard job. Why? Because the line is inconsistent. Okay, and one of the reasons the line is inconsistent, I think, is because they lack leadership up there, right? Their best player is supposed to be their left tackle, and he makes more mistakes than any of them. Not that this is a shot at him, okay? It's not. Okay, my point is that if he was to turn into the leader, or if he was a great leader, okay, if they replaced him with the left tackle, okay, from the San Francisco 49ers, now you're talking about a whole other thing, and how that player fits into the 49ers and what his expectations. There's got to be a player on the field that's like a coach, okay, and a guy that the players will listen to on the field. All right, that's it for recruiting right now. Let me go to this real quick, right, just like I do every week, right? So I just want to talk about a coaching point. All right, when you're coaching the line. Okay, so one of the big things, right? So this is the defender right here. I want to talk about alignment. right? So when your initial alignment is so important, okay, how you start every play, right? So I say that every week, right, about the importance of these different aspects. But I want to show you this right here. If you align incorrectly, right, so how do you align? Okay, you can align off the ball, so the defender has to be there. So I'm going to be off the football, right? So if I'm off the football and I'm an offensive lineman, I usually tell them to put their hand on the shoelace of the center, okay, and that puts me off. Okay, now, if I am going to line on, I put my toes on the heels of the center. Now that defender's going to be right on me, okay? And so that's one of your alignment, you're on and off, okay? Now, the other part is this, okay, my alignment this way. Okay, so here's the player next to me. Okay, so now he's on offense with me. So my alignment, my width, okay, or my tightness right here. So I can align wide from him, I can align tight to him. So alignment is in both directions. All right, so let me give you an example right now. All right, if you're going to zone block, if you tell me, hey, Turner, I want you to reach the defensive end right here. I'm going to show you from this angle right here. I want you to reach the defensive end. Well, if I line up tight to the ball and I'm here, no matter who I am, I could be the greatest left tackle in history. All right? And if I am, right, and this defender is, and I'm on the ball with him, it doesn't matter if he's a high school player. Okay, if I go to reach him, we both take first steps. It's going to be impossible for me to reach him. So now, to give myself a great chance, I'm going to put myself in the off position. So now he'll be back there. So now when he takes a step, I take my second step, and now I'm in position to even attempt to reach him, right? And he's talented and all that stuff. Okay, so I've got to give myself the best chance, and the best chance starts with your alignment. Okay, so you know if you're a carpenter, right, and you put your scaffolding up, and the house is over there, and you're going to bang nails all day, you got problems, right? Same thing. I think I used this one before with the painting, all right? You got problems, right? So the scaffolding's got to be right. If your alignment's wrong, you got no shot at getting a good day's work in. Okay, so let's talk about this now. That's the off position. When else would I use the off position? If I'm pass protecting right now, so you see this a lot of times on third down, right? Third and long. They'll say, there's a penalty, you got too many men in the backfield, right? And so who that extra player is, they'll say 76, Luke Jokel, right? He's a left tackle. So why is that happening? Because he's blocking Von Miller. And if you're on the ball, so it's like I say all the time, right? It's a race to a spot. So if it's a race to a spot, okay, and I know Von Miller's trying to get to that spot, I'm going to get myself off the football right now. Okay, so I can get to that spot because he's got so much speed. All right, so those are times when you would be off the ball. When would you be on the ball? Okay, I would be on the ball. Okay, if it was a gap blocking play. So if we're going to pull people, if I'm going to run power to the left right now, and I'm playing left tackle or left guard, and we're going to pull this way. So you tell them on the play side of these plays, right, there's no penetration. You've got to keep them on the line of scrimmage so that the puller doesn't get knocked off. Okay, the defensive coaches are telling that player to get up the field and split the double teams and stop the puller. Because if you stop the puller, okay, then that guy's never going to be blocked that he's pulling for, the linebacker. Okay, so watch now. So if it's a gap block and run play, I want to be on the ball. I want him right here. So now I'm going to be on him right now. I don't have to blow him off the ball. Okay, I don't have to get my second step down. I just got to get my hands on him right now and stop him from getting up the field. When else would I be on the ball? Let's just say you're in a full block right now, and I'm the left tackle. I'm going to block down on the three technique, and the guard's going to pull around me. Okay, I want to be on the football because I want to get my hands on him right now. Okay, if I'm off the ball, he's going to feel the pull, and he's going to get over the top easily. Okay, so I want to be on the football. All right, so another example in the pass game. When else would you be on the football? If I got a grade 3 technique right here, and I'm playing left guard, okay, and he's just bull rushing me all day long. I want to be on the ball now because I want to get my hands on him as quickly as possible. Okay, just as a general rule, that's when you'd want to be on the football then. What's a scheme-wise when you'd want to be on the ball? I want to be on the ball on a screen if I'm a releaser. If I'm not a releaser, I can be off, okay? But if I'm in a screen right now, right? Let's say it's a 2-count screen and I'm the left guard. And I'm going to try and sell him, okay, that it's pass. I'm selling him that it's drop-back pass, and then I want him to beat me so I can release out into the screen. All right, so if that's the case, if I line up in the off position,
all right, more of that with Jim Turner on TexAgs.com. You can listen to the entire duration. I had somebody at the gym tell me yesterday, like, hey, you guys don't play the whole thing. Yeah, you got to go become a subscriber and get the whole thing on the website. All right, we'll hit a break here. We'll come back. Short segment at the Fan Show. Right now, if you're looking for a perfect spot to satisfy those food cravings and hang out with good friends, look no further than Varsity Grill House. Food's great there. Aggie owned and conveniently located in front of the Academy on Highway 6 in College Station. I call it like a date place for your wife. It's also like a sports bar for your buddy. Like, it's both. And it just kind of depends. You can have two versions of you. You can be the Batman version that goes to the sports bar. You can be the Bruce Wayne version that goes and takes your wife out to eat. Great place to go. Awesome food. Good people there. Varsity Grill House. Your home for good times and great food. We hope to see you there. Little 80s for you here on TexAgs Live. FBS Appliance and their team of experts are here to help you with your appliances to make your house a home. They carry all the top brands to make your life easier, and they can fit any budget. They've been caring for Texas since 1988. They have your trusted brands like Bosch and an expert staff, trained installers to guide you through the purchase, because FBS Appliance wants to be your trusted appliance store. They've got 8 showrooms across Texas, but they're one right here down the road on Welburn is awesome to go to. That's where Liberty works. She's great. The whole crew there is great. Visit them online at factorybuilderstores.com. That is factorybuilderstores.com. We go back to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. Juan Marcos Palomo. Juan, we've got a text about Micah Hudson.
Yeah, so, there's been a lot of talk about recruited five-star receiver Micah Hudson from Texas Tech. Is asking, what are the chances of five-star wide receiver Micah Hudson from Texas Tech choosing Texas A&M when he enters the transfer portal on December 9th?
Look, I would assume, I don't know this firsthand. I haven't heard Coach Elko tell me or Billy or anybody, I don't think that they're going to go after Micah Hudson. But I would assume a guy of that caliber will 100% get called by all the top schools in the country. And A&M being a place that he was interested in at one point, you got to think that they're going to go all in on trying to get somebody of that caliber, if not himself. That's what I think. Randy on the YouTube page says, Nuño. What did I do now? I don't even know what I did. What did I do? I don't know. All right, guys, we'll hit a break here. We'll come back with those fan show guys. A couple guys you haven't seen in a while next on TexAgs Live.
Never figured out how to turn spread.
You should have told me. Okay, we're on the air. It's TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We are in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Appreciate everybody listening in. It is now time for the fan show. Fan show. Are we fans right now? I mean, we're fans because we're mad, right? We're fans.
No, we're always a fan.
Yeah. By the way, it's brought to you by PrizePicks. Go to PrizePicks.com/TexAgs. Use the code TexAgs to receive a guaranteed $50 once you play in $5 lineups. All right, Kevin Ross, it's been a minute. What up?
Man, it has been a minute. How have you been?
I've been all right. Tennessee's the last time?
Tennessee. Yes, sir.
That was like October of 23.
And 2 or 3 weeks. Yes, sir.
Sutton Turner's been about a month, maybe?
Yeah, it's been about a month.
Matt Browning's been about 12 seconds?
Seems like it.
I don't think I like your tone today.
Hey, man, I'm a little under the weather, and I mean, what?
You're a little impressed about Aggie football.
We all saw what happened Saturday.
Did we?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did.
There's nothing worse than losing to those numb nuts. I just can't. It's so hard. So.
I don't know if that's an FCC violation or not, but it's all right. We'll go to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. Juan Marcos, you decide who gets the first question. You ask the first question, which I know is going to be really hard.
It is. You know what? Yeah, Matt, why not?
I mean, Kevin hasn't been here in a year. You're like, I forgot his name. That's why. No, it's all right. It's all right.
No,
we go Matt.
Save the 5-star.
He forgot
hit the 2-star.
Kevin's name. Admit that's what it was.
Kevin.
Can you admit it?
Okay, I'll admit it. Yeah.
That's why.
Kevin, what's on your mind?
You know, it feels like that Texas game has been like months, right? Because I think the roller coaster of the emotions. What's interesting is I think what's on my mind the most, and I've turned a new leaf, Nuño, I'm actually have taken a lot of Matt Browning's positivity, right? I hit my breaking point Saturday night in that stadium, and I love the fact, though, that my Aggies are angry because they want better results. Not all the experts on the text threads are probably the greatest people right now, but I was happy to hear people not just walk out and say, okay, well, at least, you know, we had a good showing, or at least this or that. From an Aggie who wants results and return on investment, I'm actually happy to see the fan base really fired up. I don't think there's anything wrong with our team. I don't think there's anything wrong with our coach. I think we're heading the right way. It just didn't work out, and they beat us. And I'm looking forward to a lot in the future. I think he is the right guy, and I would love to argue that with somebody else. But overall, that's what's on my mind. I was just happy to see angry fans that want more, because we do everything the right way. We act the right way, we behave the right way, we work the right way, and that goes against everything in that other culture. But somehow they always get the win and we don't. And I think that also fuels our fire the most.
Son, what's on your mind, buddy?
So, you know, I went to invested time, money, and effort going to every game except for South Carolina. Drove all the way to Florida, went to Mississippi State. And I'll go to Notre Dame next year. I'll go to Arkansas. I'm going to go to Como. And I agree with you. We are a program that does the least with the most. The largest student section. Kyle Field was amazing on Saturday night. We have the NIL. We're in the hotbed of recruiting. All of the things that should line you up to build a program. However, we continue to do what we do. And so I don't know what's changing or how it's going to change. I mean, I'll still, God willing, I will continue to support this team if Lane Kiffin or Tom Herman was our coach, because I'm an Aggie and I support Aggies. However, wanting to see a change so it's not just like it used to be. And that's what I hope that somehow, some way over this spring, that something will change and we won't go down 10 points against LSU, 17 points against South Carolina, 14 points or 21 points against Auburn, and then 17 points last. And by the way, this season went very similar to someone in 14, 15, and 16. 14, 15, and 16, we're 5-0. We're 5-0. We're 5-0. And we end up 8-5. And so
something in our program, no matter who our coach is, makes us stumble, fall, and fail during the months, the end part of October and the early part of November.
Browning?
How about that Wake Forest game, huh? That was great. Excuse me for anybody listening. I'm
I can
hoarse,
feel the
a little
flu
under,
coming on as we speak.
A little under the weather, but I'm here. I made it. So no, it sucked sitting there. It really did. It sucked. It was. I mean, the atmosphere was electric, or at least it was early. But they got ahead so quick that the energy did slowly die, and you could feel the frustration ramping up around us. And then, of course, I mean, when Auburn's in town or Florida's in town or something, everybody has fans that are fun, and for the most part but Texas fans are just obnoxious. They're obnoxious fans. We had a group next to us that just kept, young couple, but they were trying to be obnoxious. There was a guy sitting down in front of us that, he stands up the whole game. Like, he won't sit, and there's people sitting behind him. They're like, sit down, sit down. Everybody's yelling at him, sit down. And he's doing his horns up the whole time. And it makes it even worse losing to them, but just because they're not, I'm sorry, look, their defense is really good. I will give them that. But, I mean, they outgained us. Like, at one point I looked up and it was they had 405 yards of total offense in like the middle of the third quarter, and I was like, man, at least they only have 17 points. I mean, they should have scored more, but they make mistakes too. That team was beatable. If we had just put a competent offense on the field or something, or something would have changed. So I don't think we're far off. It drives me crazy, though, getting back and seeing getting on the boards and seeing everybody go, oh, Elko's not the guy, Elko's not the guy. I mean, hey, the guy that just beat us went 5-7 his first year, and now look at him. He's been in the playoff. He'll be in the playoffs 2 years in a row. He just took Texas, who, this is so hard to say. They're going to the SEC championship game in their first year. We've been in this conference for 10 years. Oh, they love this. Oh, they're eating it up. All those T-shirt fans that I'm friends with on Facebook, every one of them. I get on Facebook. It's the funniest thing ever. I get on Facebook. I can say this because I'm the resident T-shirt fan, right? So I'm going to say this. I get on Facebook and I look and I've got all these people that I went to high school with. I'd love to name names, by the way. I really would. So, David would. People that I went to high school with, or when we lived in Austin, that we were friends of ours, went to church with, good, wholesome, salted earth people, but not one of which actually went to that university. I loved what the kid here did, where he went around
Luke?
North. Yes, Luke.
Luke the mustache?
He went down to Northgate and asked all the Longhorn fans that he found. He goes, "Where'd you go to school?" He couldn't find any that actually went to Texas. None of these people actually went to Texas. The ones that are on my Facebook feed that are bragging that they just beat the Aggies and go writing up poor Aggies and all this stuff that they say, and it's like. It just frustrates me to no end that it's okay to when you're young to go, you know what, I like college football too. I'm going to pick a team, right? My parents didn't go there, and I'm not going to go there, right?
Yep.
I can relate to maybe you're not college material, all right? I can relate to that, but to have I don't know what to call it, but to have the arrogance, the ignorance. Let's call it ignorance, to be arrogant. When you have no affiliation with this school, you just picked them as a kid and bought a T-shirt at Walmart, to think you're better than the Aggies, who 99% of Aggie fans actually went there and earned it. They actually went to the school. They went to 4 years. They built bonfires. They did all these different things. They've been to muster. All the things that we're proud of to be Aggies. They have no reason except that's who they picked when they were a kid, and they bought a T-shirt.
So can I ask you a question?
You asking me or Matt?
You.
Oh, I'll ask you.
So,
because I don't have a problem with T-shirt fans.
I don't either.
I don't.
It's the ignorance to be arrogant when you are one. You don't have the right to go poor Aggies and look down. They look down. They think they're better. The T-shirt fans think they're better than A&M grads because their team is better at football. They're jealous.
So let me ask you a question. So it's a fan show.
Yeah.
So David Nuño, the fan, not the host, not the guy that has to do all that you have to do to them. How do you feel about what happened on Saturday night as a fan? Not as a sports reporter, not as a...
Yeah. I don't even know if you can break away the two, but I am a fan. I mean, if you watch the post-game show, my fanhood comes out, and I apparently challenge people to fights.
Attaboy.
Don't mess with him.
And it's beneath me to do that. But the bottom line is, I don't want to say I predicted this because I didn't predict it.
Right.
But when it happens, I'm like, we saw this coming. It's one of those kind of things. And the bottom line is, I feel like it is way too early in Coach Elko's era here at A&M to make any definitive statements. He has done nothing but the right thing in my eyes. Yes, November is not right, okay? But the way he handles his team, the professionalism, the organization that they're creating, that part I believe in, and I think good things are coming. Maybe I'm a blind fan, but from what I've seen, he's doing everything the right way. That game sucked.
Yeah.
I personally would have kicked a field goal to start off the game.
Yeah.
All right. That's just how. But I'm conservative.
You're conservative by nature.
Right.
I'm conservative. I like a coach though that isn't conservative.
Yeah.
Right. I just wish Le'Veon Moss was in the backfield when you did it. Right. So as a fan, I don't want to go to next year. I want to go to right now.
Yeah.
And that's just the reality of it. The host to me, because the reality is, guys, when we are too emotional with our decisions and our fanhood, we say outlandish things
100%.
both ways.
Yeah.
When we're so invested in a team that we love, when we win, we think we're going to go 12-0, right? Like when they start off 7-1, everyone had this vision of, oh, bro, we're gonna. They said, bro. Even the old lady said it. We're gonna go beat South Carolina's butt. Even though I was worried about it, right?
Hey, remember I was.
Yeah, you were the most worried.
Yeah.
I mean, and then we think, all right, South Carolina, but we're going to go to Auburn and we're going to beat their la. And then we're going to go to Texas and we're like, look, if we just learn how to tackle, we're going to win, right? And we follow this. So the fanhood in us has us really reactive, mixed in alcohol. We get some of the worst, like our fans and other fans are some of the worst. What I don't understand, and as you guys as fans, I understand going to an opposing team's post-game show to laugh at their misery. I don't understand the trolling of it. Like, I don't understand where that comes from. Like, you know what? I'm going to just spell Aggie with a Y and tell them that they suck and they're not smart. And that's the part of fanhood that I never was. And I don't know, as fans,
Well,
do you guys get,
so
does that make you
I think those people, okay?
I like those people. I like the term.
Those trolls, they've never gone to Auburn, Alabama or to the Swamp and had Clemson in 2018 was the best experience I've ever had. Those fans were amazing, welcoming. Come to our tailgate, drink our beer, hang out with us. We are so glad you're here. I think those fans just sit on their computer or on their phone and they don't have any interaction with the humans that are just like them on the other side. And I think when you have that interaction, when
face to face, right?
Yeah, next year, don't miss going to Fayetteville. It will be a great experience. Those people will be super nice to the Aggies, and it will be so much fun. And you will have a great experience, and you will know, you know what? They pull for another team, but they're not bad people. They're good people. And they put their hard-earned money, just like you do, into supporting their team. And I think that that's the difference, that those trolls don't know people on the other side that are good people.
But by the way, though, you know how you shut up a troll? You win. And so they get scoreboard because A&M didn't win. We can talk about the 13 years in the SEC. Look, I had my doubts about Sark because before last year, okay, he was a 500 head coach,
100%.
right? And in my mind, I believe, yeah, he's winning now in the Big 12 and he's recruiting with an SEC. But guess what? It's one thing to get the talent. It's another thing to win with the talent. And you can say what you want about the schedule. They're doing it the right way, it feels like. I hate that they're doing it the right way, but they seem like they're doing it the right way. I believe Coach Elko is doing it the right way.
Agree.
Now we just got to
have to see.
Now, and it's like somebody texted the show this morning. I'm only bringing it up because I think it fits this conversation about that, we're sunshine pupping the recruiting class, right? They did a really nice job. Call it great, really nice job with the recruiting class. Getting a top 10 recruiting class sounds amazing to me.
it does not equate success.
No.
It just means they're on the right path from a talent acquisition.
I want you to go and look at the greatest recruiting class in the history of recruiting classes.
They didn't play.
2 guys on that entire recruiting class had any production in this game. Noah Thomas and Shamar Stewart. That's it. Did you go and see that list that guy put out yesterday? I've never seen anything like it. You got all those 5 stars and big name 4 stars. You go down the list, did not play. No Walter Nolan, gone. No Evan Stewart, gone. Connor's about to be gone. Now, Connor we love. And I really want nothing but best for him. Anthony Lucas, Gabriel Brownlow-Dindy. All these guys, you go down that list of the greatest recruiting class in history. 3 guys from that thing actually played this game. It was those 2 and Bryce Anderson, who Bryce did not have a good game. I think he'd be the first to admit it. But Bryce has been a big contributor. But all 3 of those guys are a big contributor. But to have the greatest recruiting class in history and have 25 to 30 guys in there, and you have 3 guys their junior year contributing, and you're going to ask Elko to come in. You
lost an entire class.
Yeah.
So that should be juniors and seniors right now.
Yeah.
That should be leading your program.
Correct. Your juniors and seniors are all gone.
Right.
Undoing the mistakes of the prior regime.
Yeah. Because of the mistakes of the prior regime. And the fact is that recruiting class was full of knuckleheads that a lot of those guys didn't need to be here. Denver Harris's,
Smoke Bowie.
Chris Marshall's, Smoke Buoys. These guys had no business being here. They didn't care. There was no discipline, it doesn't sound like, in that regime. And so now you've got all these guys that have...
And yet we all applauded it.
Oh, we thought it was the greatest thing ever.
100%.
It was fun.
Because in the beginning, it's about the talent, right? But some of that, by the way, guys, I'm not putting all of that on players. That is the culture. What kids will get away with what they can get away with. That's just we all will in the workplace. If everybody comes in late, guess what? That becomes the culture.
Right.
But if you get in trouble for coming in late, you start showing up on time. It's what you allow.
Yeah.
And by the way, I still love Jimbo Fisher. I do. Yep. I think it could have worked and it didn't work, and I wish it did work. I love Connor Wigman. It should have worked. It didn't work. Right. It should have. But a lot of that goes to development, culture, and setting a standard. Here it is. And if you're off, you have to have veteran players that pick you up. You have to have.
And we don't have that. And so that's why. So my whole point is that I agree with you 100%. I like everything I've seen Elko do. I mean, it's been forever since we were in contention in November, and he got us in contention in November in his first year. Right? It was fun. It was fun. The New Mexico State game, Kyle was completely packed. I mean, to the absolute top row.
And the fact that Elko came over last night to sit down with Bronny and Luch and talk about the recruiting class at 5 o'clock or whatever time that you guys recorded that's just amazing. I mean, he is trying so hard to connect with us, the fans.
Yep. Let's hit a break here. We'll come back with more. Kevin, we got to bring you into the discussion. I'm
enjoying
soaking
this.
it in.
No,
yeah.
I'm soaking it in. I love it.
All right. Sutton just told the crew that he's going to take everybody to Fratello soon. They're going to serve you delicious homemade Italian dishes made with love, from fresh pasta, golden fried breadsticks to irresistible, lasagna and famous cheesecakes. They're also proud partners of A&M Athletics. Luch goes there all the time. The food is delicious. You got to check it out. They ship their products nationwide so you can enjoy Fratello from the comfort of your home. They also you can find them every Saturday at the Memorial Villages Farmers Market in Houston. They are owned by the same family that opened Pino's in Houston, and they're proud to carry the tradition of serving up the best Italian food in town. Come hungry, leave happy. It's Fratello, all about good food and great company. Go check it out and enjoy it. And we're back on TexAgs Live. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We're in the Rollo Insurance Studio. It is the fan show presented by Prize Picks. Okay, guys, opinions on bowl game. And Kevin, you start us off. There's, we were talking at the break that like football season's basically ended. Like I just don't care. I've stayed away other than TexAgs because I love the host. Other than TexAgs, I've not really consumed college football recently. But I personally care about the bowl game, not because of the result. I'd like to see 9-4. I'd like to see that, obviously. But I do want to see some of these young kids play. Where are you on it?
Same thing. Was it a year ago, Oklahoma State? We got to see some kids we've never seen play. I'm indifferent. I used to get really upset, like, oh, I can't believe this person's sitting out, or I can't believe this coach, left, and now when all that happened. But I look at it now as, who are all these 1, 2, 3 stars that have not had a chance yet? I actually look forward to it because I have no more return on investment, right? Mm-hmm. Return on investment are for those 12 games during the season. Now, I'm intrigued by it. I hate the fact that, it's usually the Independence Bowl or the Texas Bowl. It's something that I can drive to in 4 hours. But I am intrigued to watch these younger players. And I do think it is finally an opportunity for them, especially in this transfer portal world, to maybe show out a little bit. And so I'm intrigued by it, but I don't really have a lot of high hopes. How about that?
I'm sorry. I'll wait. I said one of my New Year's resolutions is not to engage with the trolls, right?
No,
it's just so much fun.
He's so easy to get. You just
distract
poke him.
He gets going. Billy Lucci.
What did it say?
Jason in Houston, keep on crying. Y'all arguments are soft, just like y'all's football team.
Hey, Jason, what year did you graduate from Texas? I'd love to know.
No, he went to Southwest Texas State.
Oh, he didn't. He probably didn't go to college at all. Yeah. So no, he didn't. He didn't go to either. I didn't either though. So I can say that.
And we're gonna get back to the bowl game question, but I because I think it is. I have to be more understanding of other points of view.
No, you don't. Not their points of view.
Follow me here. Okay.
These guys are yahoos.
So Jason in Houston. That's only a 90-minute drive.
Come on.
I like what's happening here.
Come on up.
But let's. Okay. So what was the argument? Because I don't remember one argument. I don't remember one. So let's start there. Y'all's arguments are soft, just like y'all's football team. Okay. So let's. What argument did we make? We said that Texas had a superior defensive line. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Oh, and offensive line.
Offensive line.
We talked bad. We talked bad about the
T-shirt
fans. About his fans. Yeah, the fans are awful.
And
yeah,
I don't
that was me. I'll own it all day.
I don't have a problem with T-shirt fans. I don't have a problem with it. I think it's actually, it's not a bad flex that people who didn't go to your school claim your school. I think it's a little weird.
Think about this, Nuño, your old world, University of Miami. There's only a handful of people that actually graduate from there.
Right.
But everybody in South Florida is wearing Miami gear.
I don't got a problem with that. I do have a problem with men over the age of 36 that like to engage in being mean just to be mean because you don't like their football team.
Yeah.
Right.
But that's fine. Yeah. He says he graduated from Texas in 2010.
I'm sure he did. Yeah. We all believe you.
We believe everything you said. And he's got a 979 area code. So.
University of Texas, San Antonio.
But I would like for him to give us what argument we had.
Yeah.
Here's what I think about Texas, and I've said it several times. So if this is the argument, let me know. First off, I think their talent on the field was incredible. They have built an incredible talent. I still think I can have questions about. Just because we had questions about their schedule, it is a talking point. That's just the bottom line. It is a talking point. You took on the best offense you took on was 60th or 70th? Doesn't mean you got not great. It doesn't mean you don't deserve to go. I even said I thought they were better than Georgia in the second half of the game against Georgia.
Well, go ahead.
What I was going to say is, it has to do also with A&M luck and Texas luck. How many night games did we play on the road versus them? We went into hostile environments. They played at 11 and they played at 2.
But Kevin, I'll pause you there because that was great leading up to the game.
Right. No.
But when you lose the night game.
Right. Hold on, we'll get there.
Okay.
Then, how many times did they play, right, where the quarterback was hurt? Florida, Arkansas, they got backups. Sure. We didn't. It all led up to this. So I think in the back of our minds, we had that. I know I did.
I did.
So when the first 5 or 6 calls on that field, happened, and then they got overturned. Me as a fan, I'm like, oh God, here we go again. Here we go. And so if he's referring to something of that nature, I think Aggies deserve to be able to air that out and say that. But during the game, I haven't heard a lot of people, including, I've listened to you this week, nobody's really whined about, but flat out, we were sitting there, we watched it, and we turned to each other and go, they're flat out better than us right now.
I've never said they weren't better.
Right now.
They are better.
To me, with the Texas thing, you have to look at what Brent Venables did and Sark did. They had the same exact lead time getting into the SEC. Sark builds a great offensive line with Kelvin Banks, and Venables builds a horrible offensive line and defensive line. You've got to give Texas credit for building a better football program. I don't like them. I hate them. I despise them, but they're a better football team, and they fair and square beat us at our home environment in the biggest home game in Texas A&M history. Those are all facts.
Yeah. So what's this guy's name again?
Jason.
So listen, no one said anything about your football team. Your football team was better than our football team. All right, no one here is going to argue that. What we're saying is your fans suck. Okay, you're a bunch of sucky humans, and that's what we're talking about.
Not all of them.
No, not all. No.
There's at least two on the YouTube page that I like a lot.
The Longhorns is what makes them sucky. Number one. But here's what I figured out. I figured out that they are. You know why they suck so bad? And why they try to? Because first of all, they know that the poor Aggies and little brother thing drives us bonkers, right? And we give them. It's like, you know how you tell your kids, don't let your sister, if you're giving her exactly what she wants, we give them exactly what we want when we whine and complain when they call us that. But you have any idea how jealous they are of us? Right? They'll never admit this, but they are insanely jealous of us. They know that we have a far better game day atmosphere. They know, especially the ones that lean politically to the right, they're really jealous of the fact that our schools integrity and where we stand on certain things, but we have a better game day experience. We have better facilities. We have better stadium. We have better everything in that realm, and we have all that. And we have been completely mediocre for the last 80 years at football, which is really funny to me because they are crazy jealous of that fact that we're better than them in all those other factors.
I do want to say I usually hate social media, but I've met some great people on social media that are Texas fans who have reached out to me. So there's some. Rick is awesome. Let's see, Randy on here. There's a lot of great guys that I have met either typing away or out on the streets. There's some great. So
We're not saying that. We're mad right now. My grandfather, who I adored, was the biggest Texas fan I've ever met. My best friend from high school is a Texas fan. My cousin is a Texas fan. I have cousins. I have family. I love all these people very much, and it's just one thing we don't talk about. So, hey, the one thing I don't like about them is that they're Texas fans. All right, that's the only thing I don't like about them.
But
we're mad today. That's
your
all.
argument is soft, like your football team.
Yeah, your argument's soft, Jason.
Oh, Jason, I'm sure you're a nice guy in real life, but just not on text. All right, we'll hit a break. We'll come back. No, I don't think he's being tough.
I'd love to see him come up here. Hey, why don't you, Jason, why don't you come on up here and give old David Nuño challenge him to a wrestling match?
No, I just say that to people because I want to shake their hands because I think people in person are nice.
Oh, totally.
I'm just telling you that in my experience is most people
100%.
are very nice in person.
100%.
There are Aggies that are sometimes mad at me for an opinion or something I say, and then, hey, man, I didn't agree with that, but I like your show. People are very nice.
100%.
All right, we'll hit a break. I'm nice.
Oh, no, you're nice.
I give hugs.
You do. He hugs a lot.
Virtual hugs. How about hugging your car with love at Aggieland Express Car Wash? Your car wash tradition with the friendliest staff and the personal touch. They are Aggieland's first green car wash. They recycle 100% of their water. 2 great locations. You got the one on William D. Fitch in South College Station behind the Shipleys. You got the newest location on Texas Avenue, 2528 Texas Avenue South in College Station across from the Planet Fitness. They have all the services that you want. But the Texas Avenue location offers the full-service wash, the newest one in town, and they take care of all the cleaning. And we're going to give one away. The first caller at 979-693-1150 is going to get themselves a full-service wash at the new location at Aggieland Express on Texas Avenue, I should say. $40 value. Call right now, 979-693-1150.
Here.
We're back on TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We're in the Rollo Insurance Studio. It is the Fan Show brought to you by Prize Picks. We're going to go to Matthew Dawson here in a second at the Angry Elephant News and Social Center to play our Prize Picks game. But you just said something that I understand what you're trying to say, but the answer is still no. He just said that Goonies is one of the best movies of all time. Yeah, it is a great 80s movie for family environment.
Look,
it's not Godfather, my friend.
No. You have to understand where I'm going with this. When growing up in the 80s, and everyone listening that grew up in the 80s and listening understands that there's a few movies from your childhood that still stick out and they're still like one of the best for you.
Yeah,
right?
the key word is your childhood.
Yeah, your
Not
childhood.
for
No.
everybody.
So, I didn't say this was one of the greatest movies of all time.
I think that's exactly what you said.
I think it was one of mine. Okay, I misspoke. It was one of my favorite movies of all time.
For instance, Rocky IV has a special place in my heart. If it's on, I stop what I'm doing and it's automatically kill him. Kill Drago, not Apollo.
Yeah.
But I know it's not one of the best written movies of all time.
It's not.
But it is awesome cinema.
But if I can change, then you can change.
And then we can all change.
Everybody can change.
And I wish he would have divorced Talia. What's her name? Adrian. Because I thought she was bad for him.
Adrian the whole time. If you go back and rewatch it now,
she's just a
She's
whiner.
annoying. She's just a whiny.
She almost ruined the Balboa family and the Corleones.
She did. Oh, she did. She really did. She was the worst part of the Corleones as well.
She's the worst part. Anyway, do you know anything about what we're talking about?
I don't know how this started too, because Matt asked me like, "Hey, what day did the Americans drop the bomb on Hiroshima?" And then I didn't answer, and then 5 seconds later, he's like, "You have to watch the Goonies." I don't know how we got there, but
I don't either.
Yeah,
Goonies had nothing to do with that, right?
I'm old and getting senile.
Episode 9 of Band of Brothers, almost done. All right,
but we'll recap quickly the Prize Picks from last week. Hunter did come out on top with an 8-4 record. He remains atop. David, you were close behind, 6-6, so you're right there in the mix. 2 games behind Hunter, and then Matt, you went 5-7. Roy had a good week, 7-5. Actually, kind of puts himself in range there, but standings go Hunter, David, Matt, and Roy.
So Hunter is. So now I can't catch him.
No, you could. You absolutely could.
And we can play this game for the rest of our life if we want to.
Yeah,
we don't have to stop.
You're like 4 games.
Hey, the
behind.
beauty is that graphic is our football team for the last 3, 4, 5 years. Isn't that cool?
Yeah,
6-6.
Isn't it weird how that matches up?
7, yeah.
I don't like
Isn't that something?
I don't either. Oh, well. All right, well, let's get started.
Sorry, how about them Goonies?
Hey, Roy and Hunter, send in your picks, though, for real.
All right.
We'll
All
keep
right,
this
let's
going.
start.
Play the game.
Dylan Gabriel, Big Ten Championship. Is he going to have more than or less than 236.5 passing yards against Penn State?
This one's, I mean, my gosh, this Penn State, Penn State feels kind of fraudulent, too. I mean, Oregon's been the real deal, but Dylan Gabriel has some bad games in there. I'm going to go more. This time I'm really picking for real what I truly feel this time, David. There's no strategy.
You said
I'm
that
going
last week.
more. Yeah, I'm going more.
Less than.
More. Beat Penn State.
More. I love James Franklin, but not on the big games. More.
What do you think, Doss?
What do I like? I think it's hard to say. I think they're going to try to run the ball. I think more than anything, Penn State's going to try to run the ball, so it could shorten the game. Could make for a really interesting game script right there. But we'll see. We'll see. I'm staying away from that one, but I'm forcing y'all to pick it. So Quinn Ewers in the SEC championship game, is he going to have more than or less than 236.5 passing yards against Georgia?
I'm probably not using my head on this one. I'm using my heart. I'm going to say less because I just don't like them. I mean, please, Georgia, just
go
beat
more.
them.
You go more?
More.
I'm going to go less than.
Yeah, that ankle brace that you saw, I mean, he was taped up.
He ran an 8-minute 40
He
and
did.
outran
And everybody on our. But I don't know how he'll hold up. So I mean, the odds are I don't think he's gonna. I don't know if he's gonna finish the game. So.
Yeah, I totally understand that. But let's flip the field here. Carson Beck, is he going to have more than or less than 245.5 passing yards?
Golly. I'm going to say less just because, I mean, Texas showed, well, I mean, they played our offense, which wasn't very good. So I'm going to say less just because I think that it's really hard to beat a team twice.
They're going to less than. And I think that we're going to see Texas and Georgia. They're going to play again in the playoffs again.
Ooh, so you think Georgia's going to win?
Yes.
All right.
I'm going to say more than.
I think Georgia's in no matter what, even if they lose this game.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, if Alabama's in right now with 3 losses, and then, I mean, Georgia would have its 3rd loss in the SEC title game, they're in.
Agreed.
Kevin,
I'm going to go less than.
All right.
I have a bad feeling. If Texas defense has anything like what they did to us, I'm going to go less than.
Yeah, it'll depend, I guess, how many times Carson Beck needs to throw the ball, too. You know, Cade Klubnik, the quarterback for Clemson, is he going to have more than or less than 249.5 passing yards against SMU?
I'm going to have to say more. He's a Aggie family. Boy, did we miss on that one, huh?
What do you think? Because I don't know much about SMU's defense.
Well, I'll say this. They're leading the country in pressures on quarterbacks. But also, if you look at their schedule, probably was the best draw of any team in the ACC.
Yep.
So they didn't have to play Miami. They didn't have to play Clemson.
Yep.
That BYU game they lost, turns out BYU was pretty decent all along,
Yep.
you know. So I kind of like the more than because I think that they're going to have to throw the ball.
I'm going to follow your advice.
Yep. I'm more than because I'm pulling for the Texas kid to beat the Texas team.
I like the parity. I'm going to go more than, and that kid should be talked about turnaround player of the year because after that first week and everybody trashed them and trashed what is Debo doing, all this stuff, this kid has performed 11 straight weeks after that.
And Garrett Riley, for the bus that fans were throwing him under too. So Ashton Genty, let's move on. Boise State's running back, is he going to have more than or less than 171.5 rushing yards against UNLV? Also, add some context. Boise State's been missing 2 starting offensive linemen since week 2.
This is the lowest number they've had for him that I've seen, that I remember.
Yeah, seriously, this has been the lowest. UNLV also held him to 133 yards last time they played, his season low, but they also have those 2 offensive linemen coming back, so kind of variables on both sides here.
I mean, it's hard to bet against this guy too, and they are trying to get him a Heisman as well. So I'm going to go more. I know it's a big number. I'm going more.
Yeah, I'm going more than.
More than. They're going to beat UNLV.
More than.
All right, Cam Scadaboo, the running back for Arizona State in the Big 12 championship, is he going to have more than or less than 120.5 rushing yards against Iowa State?
I'm going more than already.
Yeah, more than because I like his last name.
He's really good. He's really good football.
That's a great last name.
I'm going to go less. I'm going to go less just because I'm going to go less.
I'm going to go less, and I will say this is the most intriguing game of the weekend for me.
Yeah, it's going to be good.
I'm really curious to watch these two.
I agree. Abu Sama, the running back on the other side, they have a split backfield, but Abu Sama's rushing total is only at 32.5, and he's had the majority of the carries the last 4 weeks. What's his total looking like for you guys?
I'm going to go more. I mean, they've got to run the ball to stay in it. So yeah, I'm going to go more.
I'm looking at his game log. Twice in the last 5 games.
It's a little inconsistent.
He has not hit that number 2 out of the last 5, but he typically does hit it. I'm going to go more than.
Less than on Abu Sama.
Give me more.
All righty, let's go. Nick Singleton, Big Ten championship game, running back for Penn State. Is he going to have more than or less than 62.5 rushing yards against Oregon?
Ooh,
more than. Give it to me.
I'm going to go less.
Less than.
Less than.
All right, Matthew Golden, wide receiver for Texas. Is he going to have more than or less than 43.5 receiving yards? Pretty low total.
I mean, it is low, but they spread the ball around. At least they did this last week. So, I mean, if I think Quinn Ewers is going to go low, then I might as well go with this guy going low too. So I'm going to say less than.
More than.
More than.
More than.
Keyshawn Smith, the wide receiver for SMU in the ACC championship, is he going to have more than or less than 45.5 receiving yards?
See, I think Clemson is going to. I think Clemson probably going to beat them pretty badly. It's just my gut feeling. So my thought is they're going to have to throw the ball a lot, especially towards the end of the game. So 45.5. I mean, that could be one catch for that guy. So I'm going to say more.
Yep. The no transfer school will beat the transfer school. And so SMU will lose, and it's less than.
You went less than?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go more than. I agree with what Matt's reasoning.
I'm going to go more than.
All those SMU fans are going to cry themselves home in their Mercedes-Benz.
Would you be shocked to tell you that Vegas doesn't agree with you, that SMU is actually favored in this game?
Yep.
According to Vegas. Pretty crazy. So
hey, Vegas knows stuff.
They know stuff. Tez Johnson, wide receiver for Oregon, is he going to have more than less than 68.5 receiving yards against Penn State?
Ooh, that one's a good one too. I'm going to have to go more simply because I already put their quarterback at more, so I'm going to have to go with more. I don't even know who this guy is. So
has he been hurt? His numbers
he's been banged up. Yeah. So and he plays in the slot too. So and Dylan Gabriel loves his slot receivers. So he's back. He's healthy. He's ready to go.
So hey, it sounds like we know who Matthew likes.
I like him, but 68 is a large number for a team that also kind of spreads the ball around and a team that probably will try to run the ball.
Yep, more for me.
I agree with that. Give me more.
Yeah, I think I'm going more. I don't want to, but I'm going.
Last one, Tyler Warren, the tight end for Penn State, the do-it-all guy. Is he going to have more than or less than 69.5?
Dude, Tyler Warren, man, that guy has been, I mean, is he the best tight end in college football? I probably
Harold
is.
Fannon's up there too, but they do very different
That Texas, what's the guy?
Gunnar Helm?
Yeah, he's pretty darn good too. I've got to go with more. They're going to have to get production from somewhere, so I'm going to go more. That is a big number for a tight end, but I'm going to say more for him.
More than.
Less than.
I agree. They're going to have to score a lot of points. Give me more.
All right, and that's going to wrap it up for this week's Prize Picks Fan Show segment. So thank you guys for joining. Good luck.
Thank you, Dawson. Appreciate you, buddy. All right, a moment for Caldwell Country Chevrolet, Highway 21 in Caldwell, online, CaldwellCountryChevrolet.com. When you're looking for a new vehicle, start your search there at CaldwellCountryChevrolet.com. They have a great selection. Trucks are their specialties, everything. But if you're looking for trucks, they've got a lot of several medium-duty size trucks for those heavier jobs. They have a very strong, committed sales staff. They want to give you the best experience when you're trying to buy a car because it can be stressful. Everybody's telling you what you want to hear. Let them tell you the truth. That's what they do at Caldwell Country Chevrolet. Great trade-in value, great pricing, and of course the customer service that'll just continue to give. Free oil changes for life of your purchase as long as you own that vehicle, and complimentary pickup and delivery for their service customers. It's not a far drive. We're talking 15 minutes, the edge of Bryan to the beginnings of Caldwell. Short conversation away, but you'll see the difference when you step on the lot and do business with the great people at Caldwell Country Chevrolet. Highway 21 in Caldwell. Online, CaldwellCountryChevrolet.com. Hi, I think we're going to finish the show now. It's TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. Fan show brought to you by Prize Picks. All right, so we never got to let you guys finish the thoughts on bowl games because we got sidetracked. But did you hear my horrendous idea at, I think, Tuesday on the show with the Go Hour?
No.
Bowl games as your spring game.
Ooh.
Think
That's
about
intriguing.
it.
Yeah.
Because like spring game doesn't really mean much. Bowl games don't really mean much. Let's make it mean something.
Do we move the bowl games to the spring?
Yes, that's your spring game.
I like it. That'd be cool. I'd actually pay attention because I treat a bowl game like a preseason NFL game.
Think about it. I know it's a horrible idea, and coaches are not going to play their players, but sometimes they don't play their players at the end of the year anyway.
That's true.
So why not with your new roster? That's how you do your. So now you do it a destination spring game to get everybody excited about the season. Nobody would go, but it's still kind of an intriguing idea. Sutton?
I don't care either way. Unfortunately, I really don't. It's a good idea. It may get some TV ratings during a time period where there's no football TV ratings. So
I will say this. So we always talked about for a long time an expanded playoff would make the regular season worse. I think that was completely false. I think it made the regular season even better because teams are still, even with 2 losses, they're still in contention to get to the playoffs.
Yeah.
But what it did do is it did make bowl season completely irrelevant. If you're not in that top 12, you're not playing in those, the bowls are completely irrelevant. I'll have it on. I'll have it on in the background just like I did last year. Marcel Reed, we did get to see Marcel Reed for the first time.
Yep.
And so seeing some future players is cool, but long and short of it, I could care less.
That's it. Juan Marcos, your last show. Great job. We'll see you mañana.